Your mother cooks socks in hell. Warlocks, witches, and practitioners of the dark arts thereupon. This is modern escapism. Hello and welcome to the show. My name is Wes Craven's Oodles, and joining me today, he gets cold easily and cannot be trusted, it's John Carpenter's The Biggie.
Hello.
Hello. He's obsessed with stripes and drainpipe trousers. It's Tim Burton's Stigwood Stiggy Hands.
Hello.
Hello. He's been known to allow many men and women inside his space tug and doing insidious horrors in cloning. It's Jean-Pierre Jeannot's Gadget's Resurrection.
I like that one.
Yeah. And finally, I'm not her friend this week. It's Uwe Boll's House of Candy.
It's Elvira this evening.
It is.
Actually, I look more like Nikki Sixx, though, from here.
Amy Winehouse.
Oh, God, yeah. The dead version.
Oh,
sure.
Oh, my God.
Wow. Retired on this
she ain't going back to rehab.
Before we get into the show, please consider becoming one of our sexy, incredibly cool patrons. Help us divide and conquer the podcasting world. Details are in our show notes, but mainly check out our website, modernescapism.co.uk, for more exquisite content and links to everything we do. Addendum to this, Patreon has kindly modernised their payment subscription options on their platform. Yay!
Finally.
So in theory, you can subscribe to us on any day of the month without being kinda charged twice, like the old-fashioned way they used to do it. So there's no excuses anymore. £1 will get me into rehab. That's all we need. That's what we need.
And for the people who aren't watching on YouTube, if you could see Oodles right now, he looks like a corpse.
Corpse bride. I'm absolutely dying. Oh, what am I reading here? Oh, we interrupt this programme with Biggie's breaking news.
You may already know, but he doesn't, because it's time for Biggie's breaking news.
Okay, first up, we have Dead Space. Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
The trailer was released with gameplay this time, and it looks sweet.
It looks Dead Space.
I mean, it looks exactly Dead Space, which is exactly what I wanted from it. Yeah.
That's all you want.
And they've got Gunnar, what's his name, back. He's voiced this time in this game, because in the original Dead Space, he was a silent protagonist.
All he used to say was, "Ugh, ugh."
Oh, yeah, there was a voice actor there for the thousands of ways that he could die.
Yeah.
I'm not happy, though, that the console versions of it are £70. Fucking EA.
Yeah, yikes.
Yeah, that's crazy. I was also a bit annoyed about the trailer because it's fine. I played the game, finished it, etc. But
It's spoilery, isn't
it? Just a bit. They certainly revealed a lot, but hey ho.
See, I watched the trailer with that. I haven't played Dead Space, and I'm going to play the remake, but I didn't notice anything. Like, I wonder if it's a bit out of context. I didn't notice anything that could be a...
It's all...
If you know it, you know it.
Yeah, it's all pretty out of context. If you know what the story does and what the twists and changes are, then yeah, it's very spoilery. I guess that's maybe the best way to do it then. The fans who know the story get to know that it's all in there, and the people who haven't played it know fuck all about it.
Yep.
And I've only played Dead Space 3.
Yeah. Next one. Next.
More CD Projekt news. They've just announced a bunch of projects. They've got new IP coming out for The Witcher project, The Witcher 3 sequel, a new trilogy. They've got a new story-driven Witcher open-world RPG, and potentially a Cyberpunk 2077 sequel.
They've got some fucking brass nuts doing a sequel to Cyberpunk.
Guys,
I can't look forward to this company anymore.
Does anyone think Biggie works for...
There's a lot of CD PR news
Projekt
recently.
Yeah, there is, isn't there?
Yeah,
news is news.
Some backhanders going on there, isn't there?
Also, they've got these.
It's just come through.
They've got these three projects: Sirius, Polaris, Canis Majoris, marked as Witcher project, Witcher 3 sequel, new story-driven Witcher open-world RPG. It's all the same thing.
Show The Witcher 4.
Outsourced though, aren't they?
You want Candy, sorry?
Half of them are being outsourced, though, aren't they? It's not CD Projekt that are making them all.
Yeah, I think it's only the new trilogy, the Project Polaris one. I think that's the only one that's CDPR.
Is that because they're still like stuck untangling fucking Cyberpunk?
Yeah.
Too busy fixing bugs.
Yeah.
Yep. Next.
Bloober Team's The Medium is becoming a TV show, as if anyone cared. The psychological horror game is being adapted for TV.
Fuck that.
I think it could work as a TV show. I think it could work because the atmosphere was cool.
Actually, to be fair,
it just lacked anything in there.
It was just shit.
The story itself wasn't bad. It could be made into a TV show. The problem was, as a game, it had fuck all, there was no game in it. I've had walking simulators with more gameplay than that.
Sick. Yeah, I agree.
But fucking slideshows are more gameplay than that.
Ugh. Big E.
One for Stiggy. An artist has successfully sued 2K over the use of Randy Orton's tattoos in WWE's 2K series without her permission.
A small one for Candy, this one.
Yeah, it's right up her street.
Well, yeah, I guess it's a bit of that as well.
Stig, known terrorist.
I don't really know how I feel about this. The thing is, if it's custom drawn for the person, then yeah, I think the artist probably does retain the rights. But I haven't seen the actual tattoos. But you know, if they're strongly referenced on existing like photos and things, like for example, a lot of people get tattoos of statues and whatnot. And if that's the case with him, and pocket watches, and if that's the case with him, I don't think the artist really has. Yeah, I don't think the artist really has anything. But that's a funny one.
Tattoos have been trademarked in the past, though. There is precedent there.
Yeah, that's right. Louis Malloy actually had a famous falling out with David Beckham over it because David Beckham made T-shirts out of the artwork that Louis Malloy had done for him.
I do wish that the tribal tattoos of the late 90s were trademarked and no one could have had them.
Yeah, same.
I think it's interesting because as the quality of graphics have improved over the years, then obviously everybody wants their characters in the game, if they're based on famous people, they want everything like in FIFA, you know, footballers with their tattoos, etc.
He has got good tattoos, crazy, isn't it?
The thing is, as well, like,
tattooed, isn't it?
Wrestlers a lot of them don't wear tops. Exactly. Some of them just wear bloody Speedos, don't they? But either Speedos or leggings. So if you've got tattoos, they're always going to be on show. I can kind of see it if you have a trademarked logo on you, like CM Punk.
The Brahma Ball.
Well, no, CM Punk has a big Pepsi logo on his arm.
He does.
And even stuff like Disney characters and stuff like that. We as tattooists tattoo those all the time.
Yeah,
and I hope we never get sued over that.
But Randy Orton's is literally just a lot of tribals all over on his arms when he was younger, and then he's just covered them all over with it's just arms full of skulls.
Colours, isn't it? He's got nice tattoos actually.
Yeah, they're just these skulls. He's got a rose, and he's got his kids' names and stuff. So I don't really know. I mean, she didn't win a lot of money anyway, was it? It was like a few thousand.
Yeah, so to go into it very briefly, she argued her legal case of 2K reproducing her work without permission in WWE's 2K16, 17, as well as 18. Take-Two rejected her negotiation, instead offered her a measly $450 for the right to use the images. And then after that was turned down, they just went ahead and used them anyway. And then the judge found in her favour, and the judge awarded her $3,750. So it's not a massive win by any means.
Just proving a point, isn't it?
Yeah.
I also think that they probably would have had a leg to stand on had they not offered her money, $450, and then did it anyway when she said no. I think that's where the judge has gone, yeah, this is definitely an issue because you acknowledged her claim and then you fucked her over. Like, if they hadn't acknowledged it at all, they might have had a leg to stand on and go, oh, it's a public figure, you know?
We'll get to know the full story when we get her on the podcast next week.
They said it was all down to it was a small amount because none of the profits earned by the sales of the games were attributed to the presence of the tattoos. So really, did it matter if he was wearing tattoos or not? It didn't make any difference.
I guess
the internet would kick off if he didn't have them on, though, wouldn't it?
Of course.
I guess it's that standard image licensing fee, isn't it? It's one of those things that when you put a sports game together or when you put a racing game together, you have to pay so many people for the image that you're using of something.
But I know I don't want to drag this one out, but just quickly from your side, Candy, if you did a famous person, like tattooed them, and then they went on and their likeness was used in a video game, would it annoy you if it didn't say the credits are like tattoo artist of this character because of this person? Because in my opinion, like I don't walk around going, "Oh, I got this from this person." Then my arms aren't labelled up with who my tattoo artist is when I'm walking around.
But then
you need to start doing that. Little name underneath everyone.
Well, I mean, you don't get it in wrestling, do you? In the credits, the tattoo artist.
Yeah.
But I think if it was a game, I think I would like a credit. I wouldn't necessarily need any money for it because they've already paid for the tattoo. But I think it would be a nice gesture because it's there might be somebody out there who thought, oh, where did they get their tattoos?
I wonder
and
if
then
that's
that
how
could
they'll
benefit
go.
me that way.
I wonder if that's how they'll do it going forward, so they don't have to just because there's a lot of wrestlers with a lot of tattoos.
They could just do it. End of the credits of the game is all the tattoo studios that they've been to. Boom, job done. Every tattooist knows where every tattoo comes from. Everyone with tattoos, I mean. I know all mine. Terrible. Next.
Okay, so next up, a Nintendo Direct recently, Nintendo and animation studio Illumination finally revealed the trailer for Super Mario Brothers movie. And we now also know what Chris Pratt sounds like, although we know what he sounds like,
When did
as
they
the
do
voice
this?
of Mario.
It was,
This week.
Thursday, I think.
I ain't seen it. I didn't know.
It's
Finger on the pulse, oodles.
It's a 2-minute teaser trailer.
Is it good?
Yeah, it looks
I
great.
think it looks good. Yeah.
I'm not 100% sold on it, but
Is he like, it's a me, Chris Pratt?
no, he's just Chris Pratt with a New York
Well,
accent.
it's me, Chris Pratt.
Yeah,
all right.
me, Chris Pratt.
All right, it's me, Chris Pratt.
What's
I thought it
my
looked
name?
great.
You might as well say that.
I liked the joke at the start with the penguins.
Yeah, that was great.
The animation looks fantastic. Jack Black sounds great as Bowser.
Oh, it's good anyway, isn't it?
And
Yeah, this cast list is impressive. It's got Charlie Day as Luigi,
It was going to just sound
Anya
like Charlie Day.
Taylor-Joy as Peach, Jack Black as Stiggy says as Bowser, Keegan Michael Key as Toad,
Keith.
Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong, Kevin Michael Richardson as Kamek, Fred Armisen as Cranky Kong, Sebastian Maniscalco as Spike, but they've actually asked original Mario voice actor Charles Martinet to do various unannounced characters, which is weird because you think he might as well have done bloody Mario.
See, there's a thing here, isn't there? Like, there's a lot of people from saying, "Why did Charles get to do it?" I can't.
I'm telling you why not. Because his voice for 2 hours
Because-
would be annoying.
90 minutes to 110 of that. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Have you
I
ever
don't think
seen
he's
that
ever-
Wii
he-
Direct where they did it, like him doing a Wii
Yeah.
sports presentation?
He's never done a
And they
full
never did-
conversation in Mario games, has he?
No, and they never did it again. They did that one
No.
press conference in full Mario, and they never did it again because
I don't want
No
wow
one wants
all the way through. No way.
I get it. He's been the voice of Mario, but at the end of the day, he's just kind of done a stereotypical, slightly racist caricature of an Italian.
racist, isn't it?
So to have that in a
Yeah.
full movie, yeah, no thanks. And Chris Pratt was great at voicing in the Lego movie. He was very good in
Yeah, well.
what was it? The Pixar one, Tom Holland.
Oh, Onward.
Onward, that's it. Yeah, he was good in that. Like, it's fine. I think it'll be fine. We literally heard like 3 lines from him. Like,
I like the voice that they've put for Toad with Keegan Michael Key. Like, it doesn't sound like Keegan Michael Key. It sounds like what you would expect Toad to sound like.
yeah, exactly.
He's great with voices, though, anyway, isn't he?
Well, yeah, he's that kind of actor.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But
I'll watch that tonight.
The animation looks superb. Like the shot of Bowser melting the castle was fucking outstanding.
Mate, I don't care what anyone says, but like Despicable Me and the Minions, the animation on that is fantastic.
Yeah,
Can't argue with it.
I'm still met on just the concept of the film, mostly because, again, Illumination, I'm not a big fan of the work they've put out. I've only really liked Despicable Me, and that was it.
Actually, you're in your 30s, though. That's what I need to remind you.
Yes, but I'm also a fucking man-child.
I like animation.
Yeah,
and also,
true,
we grew
true.
up on Mario.
Yeah, I love cartoons.
Mm,
It's
it's
yeah.
for the kids.
Although, Nintendo are probably going to have the thumbs on them. You don't want to piss off Miyamoto. That friendly smile turns evil pretty quickly.
He's always got a gun. He's always got a gun on him.
Stub a cigarette
It's
out in your
never,
eye.
Yeah, that's
No
why
one ever
I'm-
tells people.
That's why I'm quietly optimistic about this because I don't think they would let them half-ass it.
Yeah, true.
Mm.
I bet Sonic's quivering in his sneakers.
Hey, Sonic was great.
I know, but it's like the war, the new gaming console war has begun. The film wars.
This has this has the potential to be the first 4-star game film
Yeah.
Everything else is like
Nice to see.
three and below, so we'll see.
Sony will be doing Sackboy next.
Sony doing everything, so
They've done Ratchet and Clank already, haven't they?
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, next.
Next up, The Grinch is now becoming a slasher movie, known as The Mean One. Directed by Stephen Lamort, The Mean One brings a parodical approach to The Grinch as it's set in the mountain town of Newville, revolves around the titular character as he sits above the town despising the holiday season, which he does anyway. The Mean One will set his sights on Cindy You-Know-Who, who's returned to the town for closure after he butchered her parents 20 years ago, setting the table for a brutal revenge plot.
amazing.
Have they got the public rights to Dr. Seuss now? Is that what's happened? Because they
Must
are
be.
really old books, aren't they? So
No, it's
technically
not
must
Back
do.
in 57,
they're
1957.
not hundreds of years old, though, are they? That's the thing. So maybe they've actually got the official rights to think, no, what? Let's sponge some Dr. Seuss money. Let's get some money.
I mean, the thing is, they're calling it the meme one. I think the fact that it's,
if they never call him the Grinch, are we through it?
yeah, they've marked it. It's a parody, so they'll probably get under parody copyright laws.
Mm.
Yeah, probably. Not like that Winnie the Pooh thing, that is public domain.
That's
now,
public
so.
domain and twisted as fuck.
Yeah. Cool. Why not? Next.
And speaking of twisted as fuck, we've now had a trailer for Violent Night, which stars David Harbour as, Santa. And I watched this. It looks mental.
It looks hilarious.
Absolutely mental.
It looks great,
Yeah.
but I don't. It's going to cinemas. It feels like a straight to streaming kind of film.
It does feel like a
doesn't it?
Netflix film, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's always one big Christmas film at cinemas at Christmas.
I mean, to be fair, this one
Dish.
probably isn't it, but it looks very funny.
No.
Yeah. It's like someone said, do you know what? Let's do a Die Hard film at Christmas with Santa, and then no one could dispute whether it's a Christmas film or not.
Yeah.
It's like,
Nobody does drunk on the big screen like David Harbour does anyway.
No.
So
And plus-
if he's a drunk Santa, I'm into it.
He is a drunk Santa. He's a very violent Santa. There's plenty of Christmas-related puns. It's
Nice to see you.
He stabs someone in the eye with a Christmas tree light, like the star, then turns it on so they get electrocuted as well.
Into
like
it.
it's
pretty
very
brutal.
bloody. It's going to be an 18.
Mm,
Yeah.
I'm into it.
without a
Need
doubt.
more,
Looks fun.
need more 18 rated Christmas films.
Massacre on 34th Street.
Yeah, get on.
Not Miracle. Into it. Next.
This one's for Gadget as well. A Fraser sequel series has been given the green light by Paramount Plus, and it will star Kelsey Grammer, of course, to return in the titular role.
I'm a bit dubious with this because
It's only
He's
him.
executive producer on it as well.
Yeah,
There's no mention of any other cast at this point.
I actually don't want this. I think Frasier ended perfectly well when it ended. They're not bringing,
And it was a spin-off in its own inception
Yeah.
anyway.
but
It doesn't need a spin-off of a spin-off.
they haven't even talked to any of the original cast about returning. So, like David Hyde Pierce doesn't appear to be coming back. Obviously, the John, the guy who played Martin, he passed away recently or a couple of
did.
years ago. So it's just going to be Kelsey Grammer stroking his own ego, or possibly because he's had to pay a divorce settlement or something like that.
Maybe he's going to actually explain to him what he did when he left his son in Cheers.
he'll be doing a podcast, won't he?
He just left him and moved to Seattle.
Yeah, he'll be doing a podcast. But
Yeah.
it's also one of these things that, I mean, Kelsey Grammer is kind of an arch boomer as a person. I kind of feel like it's going to be something where he's ranting about the young people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Paramount Plus. This is what they're doing to try and get more people, people to turn to their service. They're
Grabbing everything.
they're making projects out of, like stuff like Halo. They're doing loads of legacy stuff, like they do the community film as well. Now they're doing this.
I mean, Frasier did start on Paramount Channel, didn't it? So that's...
It's a Paramount production.
yeah, but like
Yeah.
I would not be surprised to see them dig up something like Deep Space Nine, and try and do some
Oh,
a follow.
I'm not arguing with that, though.
I mean,
Well, I don't know. Have you seen Picard?
Yeah.
yeah,
I watched one episode, I went, nope.
yeah, true. Well, I mean, they had a nice nod to DS9 and Lower Decks
Yeah.
a couple of weeks ago. That was fucking great.
More Star Trek. I mean, let them have stabs at it, but...
Give it
fuck
a more
yeah.
more original Star Trek, less fucking Frasier.
Yeah.
Frasier in space.
Frasier in space. I'm up for it. Next.
Amazon are pretty confident with the Legend of Vox Machina as it's been
Machina.
renewed.
Machina.
Machina. Because it's been renewed for another season before the second season's been premiered.
It's only
This is
Gadget.
about
I know
to
that watched
debut
that.
January.
I'm excited for it. Like I think the first season of Vox Machina was like a 7 out of 10. It had some really good ideas, but just it was a bit wobbly in places. But I've seen the trailer for the new series, which comes out in January. I think it looks ace. I'm all for it. Again, it's high budget fantasy on a major streaming service. Give me more of that.
Yeah.
And the fact that it is based on D&D and a D&D actual game, like, you know, you can go back and listen to these stories as they play it live, you know?
God, D&D's got massive since Stranger Things, hasn't it?
Mm.
And Scorched Sheep.
Yeah, and Scorched Sheep.
Sorry, Scotch Sheep. Sorry.
To be fair, Critical Role have had a huge hand in making D&D cool for like the last 5-6 years.
Yeah, because they're all sexy bastards.
But they're also all very talented actors.
Yeah.
Who do
Like,
it
look, we
really
don't have to be
fucking well.
nerds to be into D&D. We're all handsome motherfuckers. Do you know what I mean?
Like
It's
Scotch
cool.
Yeah,
Just like Scotch Sheep.
it works for them. It's made them a lot of money. It's made them
It does work.
very much more famous. They get, as voice actors, they get the bigger projects. They're not all languishing doing bit parts in animes. You know.
Oh, Resident Evil 4.
But yeah, it's great, and I'm very excited for the next season. And the fact that it's got a third season shows a lot of confidence in it.
Awesome. Next.
Comic book nerds are probably losing their shit over this. Over 20 Japanese artists, including, here we go, Yusuke Murata, Yusuke, Shigeto Koyama, Sana Takeda, and Kamomi Shirahama. There you go.
Nailed
And
it.
a ensemble for a fresh take on the Marvel Comics universe. And a manga tribute releases in summer 2023.
You put all that
I'm looking
effort into
forward to
pronouncing
that.
those names right, then you mispronounced assemble.
Yeah, it's horrible.
I only put that in the news to get you to pronounce those Japanese names. To be fair,
I'm bang up for this.
Yeah, it looks great, doesn't it?
This is exactly what I'm into. This is basically for me. Everything about it is mine.
do you think someone at Marvel Comics has sat there going, you know, Oodles has had a bit of a rough year this year. Let's give him some.
Is that the tough one?
Yeah,
Let's hope so.
Let's give him a win. Yeah, I'm bang up for
looking
this.
forward to that.
I'm gonna absolutely divulge into that. Oh yes. Next.
No, that's it.
Fucking hell! Wow.
Streamlined, baby.
Boom. Right, let's get into the Nexus then. I'm actually going to start. I'm going to start.
Is that so you can have a lie down while the rest of us talk?
I can have a lie down. Yeah. I'm going to talk about FIFA 22 in the green room, just to let you football lads know that there's some football chat later on tonight. But the main thing I want to talk about is something that's even more near and dear to my heart. Werewolf by Night. Oh! Who's watched this?
Yep.
Nope.
I have.
Twice.
Oh! So, Werewolf by Night, directed by Michael Giacchino, and it's his first directing gig as well. You'll know his music mainly because he's a composer.
I mean, we get on Biggie's pronunciations, so let's move on anyway.
Oh yeah, that's fair. Fucking, I'm hanging. His music, you'll recently was on Doctor Strange and stuff. He's got quite defined music.
It's one of the best ones out there right now.
Oh yeah, definitely. He's brilliant. Yeah. But they've given him a stab at this, what they call feature presentation. It's an hour-ish long, isn't it, on Disney+.
About 52 minutes, yeah.
Yeah. So, for people that don't know, Werewolf by Night was actually the second comic book I ever read and bought myself. So, it holds a special place in my heart. The main reason for why I got it, is because of a character that was probably my first favourite comic book, Man-Thing. If you've never seen Man-Thing, think Swamp Thing kind of thing. It's basically just copied that. Who I adored, and these characters were linked in obvious ways. If you know, you know. And I do need to preface that I read Werewolf by Night before I'd even heard of people like Captain America and Iron Man. That's how long ago. You know what I mean? When you get into a universe and the first things you latch onto, they're special, aren't they, regardless of where they are today. It's just such a special thing. I never thought I'd see this. So for people wondering what this is, it's Marvel at a simpler time. Back in the 60s/70s, I think. I can't remember exactly. I weren't born. When Hammer Horror was still in vogue, and this TV special is, in my opinion, up there with some of the best stuff the Marvel Studios have ever done. I fucking adored every aspect of this. 5 out of 5 for me. But before I don't want to talk too much about it, because I think with it having such a quick runtime and anything I say could potentially be a spoiler for this. But what I do think is, after watching it, this is quite standalone, this, isn't it? I don't think it's going to have any repercussions on the actual
Well, they said
MCU.
that apparently it will.
Is it? Oh,
Yeah, apparently,
bang into
but
it.
it could easily be a standalone thing. I think that's what I loved about it as well. I love a short story. And this is just like perfectly encapsulated. But yeah, no, apparently they've gone on to say it actually is quite important for the MCU.
Well, all I know is, right, and this is not really spoiling stuff, we've got Jack Russell in the MCU now, and we've got Dr. Theodore Sallis in the MCU, which finally, yes.
His name is Jack Russell. Fucking hell.
They named him Jack Russell because what's a Jack Russell Terrier? It's a dog, isn't it?
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
He's a werewolf.
He's a werewolf. Yeah, it's the guy that plays Jack Russell. I think he's fantastic. He's Hispanic. I forgot his name. I haven't written it down. He's Hispanic. He's quite big in. I think he started on some of those, Hispanic soap dramas.
Telenovelas.
Yeah, and people loved him, and he's fucking brilliant in this. Absolutely sensational. He encapsulates everything about the character that I know, and they've definitely gone for the older Werewolf by Night, because the new, I mean, you don't have to call it Werewolf by Night. They just call him the Werewolf. The new Werewolf is Jacob Gomez, so it's a completely different character nowadays. So, but yeah, I don't want to spoil it for you, but it's a homage to those greats, the Christopher Lee films and stuff like that, and it's gothic. It's beautifully shot, and it is. Haven't they admitted that it's just a filter? It's just a special. They've not filmed it on a special camera or anything like that. All the cigarette burns on it are just put in there to make it look like that. And I don't know. There's something about it that I just adored. And guess what? We've now got every single character in the MCU that you've got a full Midnight Suns team now. If they wanted to do it, we've got a full one, and I love Midnight Suns. So yeah, if you're interested in this at all, just go in. Mind open. I think it's sensational. What did you think, Candy?
Yeah, I really loved it. The reason I watched it twice, I watched it the first time, and I was just kind of just looking at it because it looks so pretty. Like, despite it just, aside from it being black and white, the way they've filmed it, it really, really does call back to the old sort of horror films of old. And like even going to the leading lady and stuff, she's got such classic looks. And it's the use of shadows and everything. Like
she's from Frasier as well.
Oh, she?
Yeah.
Oh, but even the shadows and everything, it's so sort of rich. The colouring. I don't know if they did the thing where they filmed it. I mean, obviously, you say there might have been a filter. But I don't know whether or not.
Pretty sure they've admitted it was. I'm pretty sure they've admitted it was digital and they've just done it.
Yeah, so I don't know if they did the thing where, like in the original Addams Family, all the colours, they were actually really, really bright, and that was to make it, like, when you would look at them with your eyes, the Addams Family house was like bright pinks and bright greens and everything, because what that would do is it would make the tones just more vibrant in black and white. So I wonder if they did that. I'd like to look into it. But I watched it. I just didn't really take any of it in because I was enjoying looking at it so much.
Do you know the main reason why they did choose black and white? Because of the gore.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So they didn't have to put the rating up. Because if it was in colour, it's quite a gory hour, isn't it?
Could be. I noticed there was
throat
one scene
slits and stuff.
Yeah. There was one scene that definitely would have resulted in blood, but there wasn't any. But yeah, no, I think it's definitely the most gory MCU film. Yeah, I can see why they would have done that one.
They did very clever homages as well with the shadows showing the transformation and the lightning striking just when it needs to. Oh,
it was also just classic effects. I loved it. Loved it.
Now, on the contrary, Stig, what did you think about it?
It's fine. I just thought it was a bit slight, I think the tone was a bit all over the place. It was fun. It was a nice, fun hour. I would like to see the characters again. It's nice to know that like there are these monsters in the Marvel universe now. They're just kind of going, yeah, there's monsters here.
There's monsters, guys.
We've got Blade coming up soon, so there's going to be vampires. So they're just kind of going, yeah, it's that. I just thought it was fun, but I didn't.
I don't think we'll see these
Perfectly
characters
fine,
again
mid-tier.
till
I wouldn't.
Midnight Suns.
I'm not bothered about watching it again. On the flip side, I actually think the contrasts were a bit all over the place in terms of how it looked. Yeah, so yeah, in isolation, it's fun. But yeah, just fine. I'd
It's
say
Grinch, innit?
okay. Yeah. No, I just I was hoping.
Yeah, no.
I really liked the look of the trailer and I like the idea of it. I just didn't think.
I thought it was going to be a musical. I'm pretty sure it was. Someone mentioned it was going to be a musical when it was first announced. Pretty sure I heard that.
No idea. I like the setup, like the whole setup. Like,
And did you like Ted?
like the not really. I preferred the woman. In it. Yeah. Ted. Sorry.
Ted.
Yes.
Not Jack.
Yes. Oh, Ted. Yeah, Ted. Yeah. No, Jack. I was like, but the woman I preferred. But
Bloodstone.
Ted was cool. Yeah, and the whole setup with the Bloodstone and stuff, and that guy kind of the way they presented it to the group of assassins was quite funny. But overall, I was like, yeah, that was fun, but I wouldn't rush to see it again personally.
I'll keep your eye on that Bloodstone as well if we're getting a Black Knight film. Just keep your eye on that one. But yeah, that's what I've been doing this week. Stig, Grinch, what you been doing?
I'm going to be even more Grinchier.
Oh, you're a mean one, Mr. Stig.
Yeah. I've watched the new Hellraiser film. I'm really disappointed.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Yes.
It's gone against the grain.
Yeah. Well, not really. It's looking
There's a few people I've seen said they don't like it.
It's it's averaging out at like 65%,
Yeah,
3 out of 5.
That's not too strong.
Yeah. So yeah, the story is pretty by the numbers, and it ends up feeling more like a slasher film to me. It's just like has a bunch of Gen Zs running around away from boogeymen type characters.
That's not what the Cenobites are supposed to be.
The lead spends the whole film crying. And like, yeah, Hellraiser, exactly. Like it can offer up the chance to do something much more. But you could
They're
be
not technically villains, are they?
No, you could be
Cenobites.
really creative and interesting, but they took the most boring route with it and the least interesting. It's like, oh, here's a troubled young, well-off mind, a young adult who's got addiction problems and all these other issues, and it's like we've seen that 1,000 times. How many films have you seen in it, like horror films, especially, where it's a bunch of young adults with drug issues or alcohol issues? Or it's dull, it's lazy, it's overused, and it's the setup for this film, and friends just get picked off one by one by the Cenobites. Hence, why it felt like a slasher film to me.
Even Clive Barker envisioned them as he calls them, angels of pleasure. They weren't necessarily baddies; they were forces of nature.
Yeah,
You know what I
exactly.
mean?
Like in the first, so I'll get into this in a minute, but like, so I appreciate that at the end it tries to wrap things up with more lore. So there is a bit of lore in there that it tries to kind of bring into it, but the lead up to it isn't good. It's not inventive. It's not interesting. It's just typical boring horror stuff. There's nothing there. It doesn't trust itself. And in turn, I think that means it doesn't trust a modern audience to have an outright sleazy, like deprivative, like truly horrific edge to it, like the first ones do. And I think they were more bothered about how the Cenobites looked than anything else. It's like, do the Cenobites look cool? Yeah. Okay, have we got a story? Not really.
It's all like Hellraiser 9 then.
Yeah. The Cenobites do look great, but the makeup and the special effects are fantastic.
Apparently, they look more like the books described them now.
But they look too clean and plastic.
Oh no!
They're really like sheen, like they've got a sheen on them, and they look like they all look the same. They're not nearly as dirty or as gnarly as the originals. All of them are quite badly lit. They look very similar. You can't really tell the difference between a lot of them. If Pinhead didn't have pins in her head, she would look just the same as one of the others. You wouldn't be able to tell which one was which at all. And I was really rooting for Jamie Clayton's Pinhead as well, because I thought originally from like the pictures we saw, she looked great. And obviously there's a subsection of the internet who can't handle the fact that Pinhead was being played by a woman.
Isn't she a woman in the books?
No,
exactly.
she's
she's non-gendered, non-binary.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. So it doesn't matter. It's a woman or a man.
Yeah, they have the voice of a woman and a man at the same time.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
But the way they've put this effect on her voice, and it doesn't make her sound as menacing or as threatening as Doug Bradley's. And I know it's not fair.
Doug Bradley were great though.
I know it's not fair to compare them, but it's hard not to. When you're rebooting a horror icon, it's really hard not to look at what was there before and what's there now. And she doesn't have that like central commanding performance that's memorable
Gravitas.
like him. She just blends in with the rest of the Cenobites. It just so happens that she's kind of like the leader.
The Hell Priest, that's what it's originally called.
Yeah, she's known as the priest. She's not even called Pinhead in this. She's known as the priest.
Yeah.
The Chatterer is in this, and it just doesn't look as good. Like it just doesn't feel as, like I said, gnarly and like gross.
Yeah.
The Chatterer was always horrible. Like he was the worst out of the old ones.
But like
what about the one that's affectionately named Compact Disc, and it's got discs in its head?
Well, that was from the third one, wasn't it? But
Compact Disc. Here we go.
The first one.
No, he's known as 4K.
Yeah. MP3.
You had 4 distinct ones in the first film, didn't you? You had Pinhead, you had the slightly gross, like kind of bloated one, Chatterer, and then the female.
Which is literally called the female Cenobite.
Exactly, yeah. But they all look distinct and new, different, didn't they? You could tell who was who, and you just can't get here. And overall, I think it's just a shame because it's a series that was ripe for being retold. Like, Bradley's getting
looks fantastic.
Can't really have him in the lead role anymore. Let's redo it. But what they've done is typical mainstream Hollywood, who takes the 70s and 80s horror and makes a modern day watered down version. Even the kills in this, they're boring. They're not inventive or gruesome. They're just literally like the same thing every single time.
So
and some of it happens off screen.
Oh, really? Have they not done what the originals did, where the Cenobites aren't the antagonists, and it was like Frank in the first one? They're the baddies.
There is a bit of a
turn up to balance good and evil.
No, there's a bit of a story going on with something. There's a setup at the beginning about this rich guy who has hold of the box, and he's trying to contact, and that kind of comes into play and everything. But that's why I feel like it just comes across as a slasher, because throughout they're not kids, they're like mid-20s, like early 20s, mid-20s. They keep fucking up, and it ends up drawing the Cenobites to them and getting picked off one by one. And that's how I ended up feeling like a slasher film to me. It just it doesn't dare go into like it. Frank and is it Helen?
Helen, yep.
Yeah, Frank and Helen. Like in the first one, they're disgusted but also turned on by what's going on.
They're sadomasochists anyway.
Exactly. Yeah, like she's disgusted by it, but also turned on by it. It doesn't dare do that.
She's always grabbing a chest like, "Oh, this is horrible," but I'm
just
into
a bunch of kids running away, screaming from the boogeyman.
So do not have like the nuance too? Like I keep going back to the books, but I read the books more than I've watched the films. I've only watched the films once and read the books a few times. Where the nuance with the Cenobites is you can bargain with them. They are completely. They will chat to you. If you want to talk to them, you can.
Yes, that does happen.
Oh, that's cool then. I'm into that. But it's a shame
because the other characters are such fucking idiots.
Yeah,
they run away and fuck up and then just get killed. It's like so.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah,
never mind. Excellent. Let's move on to Biggie.
So ever since I saw the trailer for this, I've been all over this movie. Smile. Smile is a psychological horror written and directed by Parker Finn. It stars Sosie Bacon, Jesse T. Usher, and Kyle Gallner. I didn't get to see this. Instead, I went and saw a different kind of horror, a generic rom-com, because my other half didn't want to see the one I wanted
Was that
to see.
you doing a little joke there?
So we saw Tickets to Paradise.
Oh no!
Pack your bags and leave tonight.
It stars Julia Roberts.
I was excited for you to talk about Smile.
Yeah,
Smile looks good. The trailer looks
yes,
good.
it does.
You said I'm going to talk about Smile. Oh, great!
Instead, I saw it stars Julia Roberts and George Clooney playing divorced
Mate,
parents.
I've seen a trailer for this. It looks like I'd want to poke my eyeballs out watching this.
Well, I'm going to just get through this bit. They played divorced parents whose daughters graduated to become a lawyer, but whilst away on a trip to Bali in Indonesia, she meets a local guy and falls in love and wants to stay forever in Bali, potentially throwing away her whole future. Don't waste your money at all on this movie whatsoever. Wait until it hits a streaming service if you want to see it, and then complain about just how generic it is. It's the most generic rom-com movie I have ever seen. It is.
Is this George Clooney and Julia Roberts having a holiday?
Yeah, it is basically that. It's not even funny. There's maybe one or two moments that you just... But other than that, you can see everything coming to you in the form of the story. It's so boring in the sense, what's
I remember
happening?
listening to Helen O'Hara talk about on the Empire podcast a few weeks ago, and she was just like, so the divorced parents get together to stop the daughter getting with someone that they shouldn't do, and goes, and guess what happens?
They fall in love.
Yeah, she's like, she didn't even need to tell you. She was just like,
And they all live in Bali at the end.
Yeah.
Fuck it, we'll live here.
Yeah. Everything you
presume
see in the
economy's
trailer is
fucked.
what happens in
And
the
they-
film.
and
Exactly
they come to
that.
accept the new son-in-law, that kind of...
Yeah.
Yeah,
Even though
It's
he's got
just- yeah.
tattoos. Ooh.
it's absolutely generic. It's, just poor.
I'm also going to have to put George Clooney on the cover art now, on the podcast art. First for
No, you don't
everything.
have to, because the other thing I did
Uh-oh.
see was I was given a gift to go and see Al Murray with my bestie, M. Flem. And we saw Al Murray's current tour, Gig for Victory. Now, I have not necessarily been a massive fan of Al Murray. I thought he was a one-trick pony, personally. But I tell you
Pub
what,
Landlord.
his set was incredible. It was almost 2 hours of improvised comedy. He basically used as many members of the audience as he could to poke fun at and create a theme around that. The majority
Who
of
bullied you all?
anything that was scripted was around COVID, politics, and tech. It was really funny. It was really good. Nobody was safe in that audience. And he picked
Did he
on
get
people
you,
with
Biggie?
No, we were too far at the back. But he
Too
picked on
intimidating,
anyone that
that's
was
what he
bald, so he would have gone for me, or old, or fat. Oh, well, he really would have gone on for me.
Fuck.
I mean, he's just
there's-
describing himself there. That's just
Yeah.
not worry, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's one guy at the front who was obviously a big chap, and he said, "Oh, what's your name? Type 2 diabetes," and then he started chucking packets of crisps at him throughout.
I would have
throughout
liked that.
the
I'll take these
performance.
crisps.
Yeah, the guy was eating
Cheers.
them as well.
That's always been the Pub Landlord shtick, though, isn't it? It's always been vaguely
I like
abusive
it.
towards the audience.
Have you
But
seen
it was
his,
really good. It was really funny.
Have you seen the one where it's just like, name a country and I'll tell you why Britain's better?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen that one. Yeah,
Like that's brilliant because it's just all off the top of his head.
He is a massive
He is
history
so
buff, innit?
clever. Yeah, so clever, so clever.
the saddest thing about the Pub Landlord, though, is that 99% of his audience don't get that he is taking the piss out of them.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, he's not a Tory, really, is he?
No, no,
I mean-
and he's not. He's a very smart, intelligent man, but like the Pub Landlord character is taking the piss out of the kind of those kind of boorish people that England is the best, isn't it? We're better than everybody else. kind of
Rule
thing.
Britannia.
Yeah.
We won 2 world wars and a World Cup. You know, that kind of bullshit.
Yeah, but the
kind
thing
of
is,
thoughts.
Gadget, these are the same people that think Alan Partridge is a real person.
Well, yeah,
Yeah, that's the problem in today's kind of zeitgeist is people who are not us, like younger generation, will see clips of that and think that's who he is, and he's part of like the current politics that they don't
He's
agree
taking
with.
the piss
It's
out
like,
of the classic 70s clubland. That's what he's doing.
But he's been doing that before they were bloody even born.
Oh, yeah. He's
But if you
taking
do
the
want to
piss out
see
of Bernard
him-
Manning and stuff.
He's got a couple of gigs coming up in Leeds on the 12th and 13th of this month, so unfortunately by the time this comes out, you probably won't know. But after that, he's in Motherwell,
Helpful.
Sheffield, Ipswich, Northampton, Crewe and Dartford going into
I'm going
November.
to any of them
But
places, mate, ever.
I would just seriously recommend if you can catch it. It's a really funny show, really good.
Do you know I've seen Al Murray at Leeds Fest, you know, when they have comedy tents?
yeah.
And he was fucking brilliant. He was really
Yeah,
good.
he
He
was
was
really
as the
good.
Pub Landlord. and it
I
was
was very
ripping
impressed.
into the Kaiser Chiefs, which
I
I'm
mean,
a big fan of, ripping into the Kaiser Chiefs.
I would say they kind of usually deserve it.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that. So, yeah, I've got a lot of time for him.
There's
So,
a good one as
awesome.
well. Al Murray versus Americans as well. If you find that on YouTube.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. That's very funny.
Excellent.
that's it.
Excellent. Gadget, what are you been up to, mate?
So I've done 2 things this week. One I'm going to talk about in the Patreon section because I need to have a little bit of a rant about it.
No.
But so the one I'm going to talk about, this is I've been busy this week, so this is more of a kind of an early impressions than a full review because I'm only a couple hours into it. But I've been playing on Game Pass Moonscars, which is which is a 2D Metroidvania, but heavy on the Vania.
Ooh.
Keep
talking, Daddy.
It's published by Humble Games, developed by a studio called Black Mermaid. 2D side-scrolling melee combat fighter with a gorgeous oil painting art style, very gothic grim. You play as a character. Hang on, I need to find the description. This is one of those games where they've taken the Dark Souls imprint of make the law impenetrable, but they've gone too far with it. I have no fucking clue what's going on in this game. You play a character called Grey Irma, who is a claymore sculpted in the image of a great warrior. Cursed with a desperate need for blood, life force absorbed from slain enemies, as well as the need to reunite with her creator, the enigmatic sculptor. Grey Irma must cut a swathe through the formidable opponents and hulking bosses that stand in her way. That's a description I found in a review of it, and that's about as much of the story as I've managed to glean, despite being like 2 hours into it. All the characters talking riddles and talking circular text. You do not play this game for the story.
Do they end every conversation with?
A couple of them do, yeah.
Yeah,
and one,
I love it when they do that.
And one of them is a giant cat that is totally legally distinct from the Cheshire Cat.
Legally.
But the game is really fucking good. It's very much reminiscent of Symphony of the Night, just without the banging soundtrack. It's got more of a kind of dark ambient soundtrack. The gameplay is a little bit faster than Symphony of the Night, but not quite as fast as, say, something like Dead Cells. But it's kind of in between those two.
Okay. So like Bloodstained a bit. Bloodstained's a bit faster.
Yeah, a bit like that. You have a whacking great big sword, which is always a standard thing. Do heavy attacks, do parries, all that kind of thing. As well as that, you can unlock special moves, so like whirlwind strikes or spear strikes or massive hammer strikes. And you get the Dark Soulsy thing. You find these mirrors, which are effectively your bonfires. The thing is, when you rest at a bonfire, it's not so much that you rest at it. You kind of go into the mirror and you shed off your clay form because you're going back to where the sculptor made you or something like that, whatever the story thing is. Thing is, when you come back into the level, that clay form still exists and tries to kill you. So you have to kill yourself. It has all the abilities you had when you rested.
Hollow Knight.
It's very much like a corpse run, but you haven't died, if that makes sense.
Ooh.
So you have to basically fight yourself, but you don't have the special move anymore. It still has it. So to get the special move back, you have to beat it. And it's not...
I'm banging to that.
It's not a particularly hard thing to fight every time, but it's something that it's like... It makes you think about checkpointing because you think, am I going to die further on? Do I need this checkpoint? Because I have to fight a little mini-boss before I do it. You get these they're called witchery powers. So, which is where the kind of I think the Dead Cells comparison comes in. You get 2 slots on the triggers for spells to cast. Some enemies can only be damaged by those spells, and they tend to be fucking hard. So, the way you earn the mana for them is to attack things. So, the more things you kill, the more magic power you have, and then you can blast them. So, I've had a couple of enemies, these gilded enemies, where I'm stuck in a locked room with them. And I can only damage them with the spell, but I've got to keep attacking them and hitting them to build it up. To hit them. And it gets really fucking tense. This game is so hard, but in a good way. Like, it's very challenging. Everything wants to kill you, and you have to... It really makes you... A little bit like Symphony of the Night, it really makes you kind of engage with the mechanics to do combat properly. You know, you can't...
It reminds me a bit of Blasphemous, having a look at it.
It's got a huge Blasphemous vibe as well, yeah, just without the Catholic imagery. But yeah, it's really good. Oodles, you'll fucking love it. This is right up your street.
Yeah, you sent me a clip of it, didn't you?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's got that thing that there are walls with spikes on. You can just kick people into them for an instant kill.
Ooh,
if you're clever enough.
I'm into it.
Yeah, it's really good. I'd really rate it. I'm going to keep playing it, and I'll probably do like.
Is it going to be priced well?
So it's
$15 quid-ish.
It is $15.99 on Steam.
Yeah, That's the beauty.
And I'll just check if it's on PS Plus. Moonscars PS5. Because I know it's on Xbox and PC.
Rather than Switch.
No, it's on the PlayStation Store. For some reason, my PlayStation Store is saying it's in Hong Kong.
$69.99.
No, it's coming up saying it's 78 Hong Kong dollars. Why does Edge think I'm in? Why does
What is 78 Hong Kong dollars in real money?
Yeah, right. Hang on. Go to the right store this time. Yeah, 16 quid on the PlayStation Store.
Somebody's been on VPN, hasn't there?
No, which is what's weird about it. But yeah, if you just Google Moonscars, just look at the artwork is stunning. Like, it's one of these things where, I don't think it's doing anything particularly original as the game itself, but it's selling itself on its presentation. But it just so happens the game itself is very good. They say I will do a proper review once I've played more of it and hopefully get to the end of it. From what I've read from the reviews, the story will never make sense. No one can. It's so impenetrable. But you're not playing it for the story. You're playing for the combat, and the bosses are fucking wild. One where it's just hands and arms coming out of a wall, and occasionally a head appears, and you've got to jump on platforms around it to avoid being hit.
Oh yes,
like proper horrific
that's
stuff.
Proper Symphony of the Night.
Yeah. So yeah, play Moonscars. It's really good, and like I say, it's on Game Pass. It's worth trying for an hour.
Nice. Brilliant. Candy, again, finish me off, please.
Oh. I've actually got a couple of things to talk about this week.
You got all flustered there.
So I think I mentioned this several weeks ago that I'd started reading or listening to it. And it's the audio version of Mickey 7 by Edward Ashton.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I wanted to catch up on this since it got announced that it's being made into a film starring Robert Pattinson and directed by Bong Joon-ho. So he directed Parasite.
I love both of them.
I
love both of them, so I'm banging to this.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. So I do also really enjoy being that smug person in the cinema that likes to point out the differences between the book and the
I've
film.
read this.
That's not the same.
Mate, you should have seen in the middle of the film. Lord of the Rings.
It doesn't do that.
When Lord of the Rings first came out, I'm like, where's Tom Bombadil?
Said nobody ever.
Ready Player One for me. Like, that's not right.
Oh, don't get me started on that.
Not my Aragorn.
So the story is Mickey is an expendable. So it's his job on a colony ship to do all the messy jobs that are likely to result in death, basically. And to kind of like clear up the loophole, the reason that there needs to be an actual human to do these jobs is there's some things that just can't be done by robots, such as like working in high radiation areas. The human body will last a lot longer than a robot will, and
love making.
That wasn't included, but yeah, probably. And also being like a test subject for local sort of flora and fauna, like bacteria and stuff for any worlds they might potentially inhabit. And every time Mickey dies on a mission, his consciousness is transferred to a new clone of his body. And he wakes up in his bed and he's kind of very little knowledge of the demise of his last iteration, basically. He just kind of wakes up feeling kind of groggy and just knowing that he must have died. And the story starts with Mickey number 7 being left by his team to die in a sort of icy crevice. And the reason he's fallen down there, he was basically, rather than paying attention to where he was going, he was just kind of staring at the sky and just took a misstep and it sent him plummeting down. So the team decided just leave him. He's going to die. Just it's not worth trying to save him. He's an expendable. It's fun. It's a reasonably sort of light-hearted sci-fi novel. The main character, Mickey, he's just a relentless, lovable idiot. The decisions he makes throughout the story just consistently stupid.
I think I found him to be a charming arsehole.
Completely.
That's what I've been referred to as before.
No, you're just an arsehole.
Okay.
This is what I've been referred to.
I added the beginning bit.
Yeah.
But even the circumstances that lead to him taking on the job as an expendable in the first place, like it's not a great job being forced to kind of die over and over again in a variety of different ways. It's usually a job that's kind of forced upon felons and things. So you actually have a couple of plots running adjacently. There's the one of Mickey and his history and how the multiples are treated within these settlements. And Mickey's colony ship dealing with an apparently sort of hostile race of local creatures inhabiting the planet that they're trying to colonize. Mm-hmm. what it does bring up, actually, it brings up some really interesting kind of philosophical questions. So during Mickey's training as a multiple, his mentor poses an example to him when he questions like whether any new versions of him are actually him, whether it's the same person or not. And he's introduced to the ship of Theseus, which is the idea that Theseus sailed the world in a wooden ship. And along the way, he replaced every board and every nail as it went, every time it needed replacing. So was the ship that ended the journey the same ship that had started it? And when you compare that to the fact that every single cell in your body is replaced every couple of years, are you still the same person or not? And does it matter if all those cells are replaced in one go?
That's a bit like Trigger's broom.
Trigger's broom, yeah.
Yeah. It's straight from Homer's Odyssey as well. I'm banging at that.
Yeah, it's fun. There's also a question of at what point does a creature become sentient as well? So when the humans are kind of colonizing the planet, how do they distinguish what's potentially a meal to a recognized race of its own? But yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was just, it's nothing too heavy. It's a fun little read. It sort of asked some questions in a non-threatening way, and it was nice to catch up with it before the film comes out. I don't think we've got a release date for the film yet.
It's in production at the minute.
Yeah, so it's probably a couple of years off.
I really enjoyed it when I don't think I did it back in February or somewhere around there. Yeah, because the book.
Yeah, you mentioned it beginning of this year.
Yeah, the book came out in February, and I really enjoyed it. It's a really cracking book, and
it wasn't dystopia enough for Gadget. No, it wasn't moody or grimy enough.
I like comedy. It's pretty fucking grimy in places, but
oh
yeah. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I rate it really highly. It's going to be. I hope it turns into a very good film.
Yeah,
right, Candy. Okay. I believe. You've got a special announcement to make.
I do. I'm excited.
She's leaving the show.
Yeah, bye everyone.
Yes, finally.
Here's my P45. Yeah, no, I'm nervous to announce this and excited as well. So, several months ago, I had a idea for a little project.
A brain fart, some would call it.
Yeah, you could call it that. Yeah,
a headache with pictures.
Yes, exactly. So, in the last couple of weeks, I've been putting the wheels in motion, kind of behind the scenes to get it going. And starting in November, 4 of myself and 4 of my best girlfriends, we're going to be doing a 6-part Modern Escapism spin-off podcast.
What?
Yes! Oh my God! Another
How dare you?
Another one. So we're called Smash That Glass, and there is a reason behind the name. You will find that out on the first episode. Gadget, if you wouldn't mind pressing the red button, we've got a short promo.
Oh, yep, big red button time.
Hi, I'm Jupiter.
Hi, I'm Acid Pearl.
Shemai, I'm Super Natty Cat.
Hello, I'm Mushroom Deer.
And I'm your host, Candy Machine, and we are Smash That Glass, a celebration of the women that get done in music, entertainment, pop culture, and throughout history. We're a 6-part fortnightly podcast brought to you from the Modern Escapism Network. Tune in to us every other Monday for an hour of recognition, intoxication, and a little bit of debauchery whilst we celebrate the women who are kicking ass and taking names. Find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and all your usual podcast providers. We don't live, laugh, love. We smash that glass.
Wow, that was so good.
Thanks, guys. So yeah, as our promo just said, we're a celebration of women who get shit done in typically male roles, basically in sort of media, gaming, music, entertainment, and throughout history as well. It's a bit more of a kind of informal chat than Modern Escapism, and I'm really excited for everyone to meet my cast because they're all really, really interesting people. And they're all going to bring their own kind of special flavour to the pod as well. So we've got Acid Pearl, my best friend, Super Natty Cat, who you will recognise from our Discord.
Tampon talk.
Tampon talk. And we're going to be focusing kind of on the entertainment and pop culture side of things. And then Jupiter Storm is going to be having a look back throughout history, and she's going to bring us women.
She's got a shiver down my spine then.
Yeah, that's
you don't want to mess with Jupes.
Yeah, that's absolutely not. My partner Pip, for anyone who's keeping track. That's why Wheels is scared of her.
My kryptonite.
We're all scared. So yeah, she's going to bring us women of note throughout the ages, and Mothram Deer, I think, is actually going to have a bit of a deep dive into fictional characters within media, which is she's going to be studying their costumes and looking at their historical accuracy. And even potentially kind of rewrite their character, which is her particular area of advanced expertise, and you'll find out about her educational background on the pod as well, because she's a pretty amazing person.
She is a professional woman.
She is a professional woman. Like I said, I've had this project on the back burner for several months, and the stars have kind of aligned recently, and we're going to start recording soon. It is a celebration of women, but our hope is that we'll kind of appeal to everyone. We know we have a predominantly male audience of modern escapers and listeners, and we want them to feel just as included as well. Like, we're specifically a women celebrating pod, but not a man-hating one by any means. We aren't those feminists.
Give it time.
Like this show, we hate men on this show.
Yeah, please, lads, don't feel like that you can't write in or can't get involved. We would love particularly to hear from you too.
If I've got a problem, I'm cancelling it there and then. Boom.
And that's when
I'm
going to
be like Netflix on that shit.
So our first episode is going to air on November the 7th, and we're going to be airing every second and fourth Monday of the month. So you'll either have me or Oodles to listen to every Monday, and I'm hoping if you're all up for it, before our first episode airs, we'll have like a boys versus girls special or something to introduce our listeners to the new cast. So I don't know if we'll do that on Twitch or if it'll be a second episode. Or
we should just do a battle royale in a field.
We could do that as well, our film.
Stig's nodding. I will do that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Spoiler, Pip wins.
So
I'm fucked.
Yeah.
Fucked.
She is powerful. Very powerful.
Yeah, I would just run away.
As
to
powerful
be
as two suns. She is a force of nature.
So yeah, details of that is going to follow. You'll be able to find us everywhere. You can find your normal podcasts, and there's going to be a slightly more X-rated version that's going to be included on the and included ad-free on the as part of the Biggie bundle. And when I say slightly more,
let me just say though,
X-rated,
that Biggie bundle is getting so much content to it. Come on,
getting stolen,
guys!
that bundle, isn't it? It's
Come on, it's
engorged.
not expensive, guys. It's cheaper than a posh coffee. Just get it done.
Get it done. When I say slightly more X-rated, I live in fear for what Jupiter has up her sleeve. It fills me with dread. So we might have to come up with a safety word. But we'll be updating the Modern Escapism website soon. So
The website?
you'll be able to find all of
We need
our
websuits. Wow.
yeah, the website.
Where do I get these websites?
So you'll find all our contact details on that.
Yeah.
Available on Redbubble.
Do you know what, Candy? I'm proud to be able to
thanks.
allow you to launch this endeavour.
Allow you to.
Allow you to. I'm joking. I'm fucking winding you up, mate. I'm winding you up. No, I'm buzzing for. I'm looking forward to it. I'm just going to be a listener, and I'm proper excited by it. So
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it's going to be
cannot
fun.
wait.
I mean, we are
and
gonna get
all
banned
cast
from the
members are
internet.
fucking mental.
it's
so,
gonna
yeah.
get us
Oh,
cancelled.
probably.
So
Yeah, I would think so. So that's something to look forward to.
Will there be a specific form that we can use to write in?
Probably.
she doesn't run the website, mate.
I don't bloody know. Stig, will there?
Ask Stig.
I'll sort some out. Don't you
We'll have an
worry.
email address.
Do it.
That's a poke
I'll-
at Super Natty Cat, by the way.
Oh, nice.
We're just going to do it on Twitter in multiple tweets. Just doing that, yeah. Right, let's move on to the main topic. Candy, again, take it away.
Well, there is a reason I am sitting here sweating and trying to
As
impersonate
Amy Winehouse.
Elvira poorly. Yeah, Amy Winehouse. So last week I set you all a little bit of homework, and I just know that our friendship is going to grow from this.
This is why I'm not your friend anymore.
You are.
This is
that's
why you're
not
off the
true.
podcast.
I know you had a good time. So I set you all a horror film of my choosing, which are all particular favourites of mine, to share your thoughts with us this week. And I'm just going to go around the table. I was also set one as well. I was set one by Gadget, and I will do mine at the end. But I think we'll start with Stig. Now, Stig, you were given Tusk by Kevin Smith. And
Not the song by Fleetwood Mac, unfortunately.
although, fun fact about that, the majority of the budget for that film was spent on getting the rights to use that song in the film.
Such a good song, Mo. Such a good song.
I think the film cost about 20 grand, and that cost about 15 grand. So
20 quid.
the synopsis of Tusk is a US podcaster ventures into the Canadian wilderness to interview an old man who has an extraordinary past, and the American learns that the man has a dark secret involving a walrus. Take it away, Stig.
I watched this as well, mate.
It's funny because I know you all think you got the worst one.
I didn't.
No.
I actually think I probably got the best one. Looking at the I watched the trailers for the other ones because I planned on watching them all, and I watched the trailers for the others, and I just went, nah.
Tusk is the best one out of all of them.
Tusk is
Wise
probably
move.
the best one, but it's still fucking shit.
Yeah, it's garbage.
So, I done a little bit of review here, and not a typical review. I've just made bullet points as I was watching this film. I'd like to go through my bullet points if I may. So, first off, my first bullet point is this is really boring. The setup to this film is really, really boring. It takes so long to get before he gets to Howard's mansion. And then he just has this weird conversation with Howard. And then Howard is this eccentric old man who, obviously the podcaster goes to see, what's his name? I can't remember what his name is again. Wallace the podcaster. And they're having all these conversations about everything he's done in life. And one of the conversations, I've just written down, why is he telling a story about his childhood like Dr. Evil in Austin Powers? It is exactly like that. He sits there and he's like, and honestly, I was waiting for the point where he says, my mother put me in a burlap sack and beat me with reeds. Like, it's the exact same style
He
of
drinks some coffee.
conversation.
This is what we call a Belgian dip.
Yeah,
Do you know what?
the
It's funny
exact
you
same.
should raise that scene though, because I think of that scene is the one scene that doesn't work in Tusk, and I know none
No.
of the scenes work, but that
The
scene
one
in
scene?
particular, it seemed like it didn't really fit with the rest of the film because it kind of struggles with it doesn't really know if it's a comedy horror, or just like that place in particular does get a little bit like it gets particularly dark, and I think it doesn't
problem
really fit
is-
with the rest of the tone.
The problem is, and sorry for jumping into this, Stig, that's Michael Parks. Look, God rest his soul. He's one of the best character actors. He was one of the best character actors alive, and he's just squandered in this.
Just
Fucking
let's
terrible.
carry on. My next point here is, there's still 45 minutes left after the reveal. Fucking hell. And the reveal is he gets his legs chopped off, and then you think that he would gradually get turned. So the podcaster, you're going to get spoiled here, listeners. Sorry. I have to spoil it to actually tell this. The guy, Howard, turns him into a walrus, literally alters his body and his shape and turns him into a human walrus and like big, massive creature. And it just happens. 45 minutes in, done. And he's made into a walrus. And at no point is he's screaming and everything, but like it's like this just can't happen. Like he's healed. But he's how is he alive? How is he alive?
How is he alive?
Honestly, it's ridiculous.
Suspend disbelief.
And this is so stupid and ridiculous, but not in a fun way. And then, oh my god! So we're 45 minutes in, then we get introduced to a new character. So his girlfriend and his podcast partner have got voicemails from him. So they've come to Canada to try and find him. And they bump into a guy who was hot on the trails of Howard at one point.
Guy Lapointe.
A disgraced detective who's still on the hunt for this serial killer. Played by Johnny Depp.
Yeah, Guy Lapointe is a real person as well.
What is the fuck is Johnny Depp doing? What is this character? What is that nose? What is the eyes? What is the accent? What the actual fuck is Johnny Depp doing in this film? Like, what? Like, if you didn't know it was Johnny Depp, I don't think you'd be able to tell, but fucking hell.
I think
Well,
it's
it's a
a
real
bit of a
person in
family
real
affair,
life.
isn't it? Because Kevin Smith's daughter, Harley Quinn Smith, is really good pals with Lily Rose Depp. So there's
Yeah.
a scene when he's traveling throughout Canada. They goes to a service station called the A to Z, and it's those two, Lily Rose Depp and Harley Quinn Smith.
Yeah.
Who
Yoga
also,
hoses, something like that.
yeah,
Yoga hoses,
yeah.
yeah.
So the second film in the series is Yoga Hoses, and that's centered around those two. And I think is Guy Lapointe in that film as well. I think so.
Yeah.
So
It's
there's
same characters.
The
Yeah.
thing is, though, again, Guy Lapointe's a real person in real life, and he looks like that.
But wait for it. There's going to be a third film called Moose Jaws.
Oh, fuck's sake.
Fuck off.
Who's
Anyway.
giving Kevin Smith more money?
Me.
Candy's already touched on this. This film doesn't know what it wants to be. Is it a horror? Is it a comedy? Is it a parody? Fuck knows. Next point. Still boring. Next point. Someone please stop Johnny Depp.
Stop
He
him.
would have been saying that for years.
Yeah. How is he even alive? His body transformation reminds me of Dolphin Plasty from South Park. Remember that episode
Yes.
where Randy
Yes.
gets turned into a dolphin?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what this reminds me of.
That's what the whole film is.
These screams, oh my god, these screams, because the screams are horrendous. The noise that Wallace makes as the walrus, oh my god, they are. And he goes on and on. There's so much screaming, and it's like they're horrendous. They actually work quite well. They do go through you, but it's the fact that he's a fucking walrus.
Thing is, he's a patchwork
Yeah.
walrus. He's all
Yeah.
stitched up.
Stitched up.
Fucking
so
horrible.
much more disgusting than I never thought Kevin Smith had it in him to make such a horrific prop. Like he's such like a happy guy. We're talking to him. You just don't think that's kind of within him to make a.
And that's actually Justin Long in the suit, isn't it?
Yeah. Howard
hellfire.
staring through the porthole like a shit-looking Walter White. There's at one point he just looks like a shit. He looks like a dishevelled Walter White. Why is he even eating the fish? Just jump in the water and end it. You would, wouldn't you?
End it.
You just jump in the water and kill yourself. I don't know what's more distracting, the accent or the nose on Depp. Ha ha ha! What the fuck? He's now dressed up as a walrus himself, fighting Wallace. So the ending of this film is that Howard then gets into his own little homemade walrus skin, and it's just him and Wallace
butting heads, aren't they?
fighting each other as walrus.
The transformation's complete. He's fully like embraced his life as a walrus now. At that point,
Yeah.
The thing is, though, the
Uses
most
his
poignant,
tusks to kill him.
yeah, apparently the most poignant scene is when Michael Parks is describing his love with the old walrus that he had.
Oh yeah, he goes into like
weird.
he's
Mr.
got all
Mr.
these
Tuskegee.
old stories about his life and how he was
On an island.
He was stranded on an island. The only company he had was a walrus, which he called Mr. Tusk. And now he longs to find Mr. Tusk, and he keeps killing all these people and turning them into walruses.
He's fucked up.
And then not only that, it's like Johnny Depp is got the gun on him, right? End it, kill him. Nope, they keep him alive. And they send him to a walrus sanctuary.
Zoo.
Okay.
And his girlfriend comes to visit him and is like, oh, it's such a shame.
His girlfriend, who incidentally is shagging the other guy from the podcast behind his back, which was a side story that went nowhere and didn't even need to be in there at all. What was the point in that?
I think it's
Anyway.
just like it just proves just what absolute assholes those two podcasters were in the first place. Like the whole story
All
starts.
Podcasters are.
Oh yeah, but the story starts because he was off to talk about a story where this kid whose clip went viral from him accidentally chopping his own leg off. And
Like
so he
Star
sort of
Wars
used-
kid, one of kind of thing.
Star Wars kid.
Yeah, so he ended up mutilating himself, and the podcaster went up to interview and basically take the piss and find out the kid's actually like committed suicide. So actually, it's almost a tale of those two absolute dickhead podcasters kind of getting their comeuppance, but the other one doesn't, because the other one that is shagging the girlfriend's wife, who's potentially worse, like his humor is just as bad as Justin Long's, and he's shagging the other guy's girlfriend, and he ends up with her, and just
Happy
Justin
ending,
Long
not a
ends up
walrus.
as the walrus.
Why didn't they just kill him?
So, right. There's actually a clip. Fucking hell. I sat there and watched the credits for this, but not for any particular reason other than the fact that I was making notes on my phone. So if I hadn't been making notes on my phone, I wouldn't have known about this. Halfway through the credits, cuts to a clip of Kevin Smith's podcast, where he's describing this film idea he's got. He's clearly high as fuck, and they're just going on. He's like, and then this happens, and then this happens, and him and whoever's on the other podcast are like, like this is so fucked up, so funny. And it's like it should have stayed there, Kevin. It should have stayed there.
Didn't they get the idea from
On
the
your
Craigslist thing?
On your podcast, when do not make any more films based on your random high podcast musings. And for all those people that voted hashtag walrus yes, fuck you. This is your fault. For shame.
Are you saying you liked it?
It's fucking awful, Candy. Honestly.
5 out of 5?
No, I hated it so much. So much.
The
You can't
good
tell.
news is that you got the least worst one, so it's
I did as
gonna
well.
be worse from here.
How is it worse than this?
Well, it gets worse because the next
Trust
film
me.
we have is one that I got for Gadget, and it's called Verotica. And Verotica is an anthology based on the comics of the same name by Glenn Danzig, singer of
Oh,
The
no.
Misfits, in which the erotic and horrific combine to create multiple ghoulish tales of bloodlust, murder, the occult, and the forbidden. I've wanted you to watch Verotica for so long, Gadget.
Tough wank, but he got through it.
So,
Strap in.
It's hard to keep being a friend, innit, after this?
right. Candy middle name machine, what the fuck did you make me watch?
Cinematic glory.
So this film, I'm going to do a similar thing because I wrote notes here. When I read back through them, I was a bit drunk last night. When I read back through them this morning, it's mostly me shouting. This starts off with a lass called Morella, who is your kind of Elvira-esque narrator, kind of introducer between the three stories. She just walks up. She's got this woman kind of naked, tied up in a flat, and she just walks up, and before she even says a word, she just takes her fingers and pushes them into the girl's eyes, kills her, and then turns around and says, "This is Verotica." I'm like, well, that's not a good start. We have an opening credits crawl where of course Danzig sings the theme tune, but his
Mother!
it's not even that. His band sound like they can't be arsed.
Dancing in the Can't Be Asked. That's his new band.
Yeah. So the first of the three tales, of which I have issues, mostly because it's called The Albino Spider of Gadget.
You know he doesn't like spiders.
She knows I don't like spiders.
I forgot.
Really?
Well,
So
no,
he
I
says it
didn't
every
forget
week.
you don't like spiders. I forgot there was spider bits in it.
Yeah. So the thing is, most of the cast, especially most of the female cast in this, are porn stars. I feel like Glenn Danzig would have had a better time if he made a porno. Because this entire film just seems to be like it's shit that turns him on.
Mate, I'm just thinking about the casting couch now. I bet that were fucking disgusting.
So Gadget is played by a woman called Ashley Wisdom, who when I look up her IMDb, her porn performer name is Rachel Rishi. Rachel Rishi. The last major credit she had under that name was My Sexy Boss Likes Anal.
It's good on that.
Yeah, it's a good one, that.
Or Big Wet
Sequel's better.
Interracial Tits 2.
Into that one. I like the first one better, though.
I thought third was better.
Yeah, especially the ending.
or A Gonzo Story Cream Pie Virgin. That's the level we're talking at here.
That's the one I've seen.
Yeah. So
Classic. That's the one you uploaded to our Dropbox.
yeah.
Be
So the
quiet.
thing is, Ashley Wisdom is American. Gadget is French. And it's all based in France. She had
Ooh
a
la la.
voice coach to teach her how to do a French accent. She cannot do a French fucking accent. Nobody in this fucking short can do a French accent. This thing starts off, she's giving a blowjob to some bloke while the CGI spider is walking around. Things get hot and heavy. She takes her top off. And
Nice.
her tits have eyes.
Nice.
The tits have eyes. The guy
Isn't that the sequel to The Hills of Eyes?
I was going to say, is that the new Hills of Ice?
The thing is, the guy, quite understandably, freaks out at this. He runs off.
I'd have
She
been
starts
into
to
it.
cry, going, "Oh no, it happened again!" And then the tits start
Sucker bear.
crying.
Oh, no. Hang on. You can bleep this out if it's disgusting. Were they crying milk?
No,
No,
it wasn't.
tears.
He missed a
was a bit
trick.
milky,
He missed a
wasn't it?
trick. He missed a trick.
One
Should've
of the
been milk.
tit tears drops to the floor and lands on this little CGI albino spider, which
No.
inexplicably transforms into a man. A man with with like 6 arms and but white
8
makeup on.
dicks.
But the thing is so the note here is the spider becomes a man who loves Gadget, but he was a tiny spider 30 seconds ago, and then he wants to roam. And then the spider, every time Gadget goes to sleep, the spider goes on a killing spree, killing prostitutes. He fucks them in the arse and then snaps their neck for no fucking reason.
Nice.
No desire at all is given it. He just goes and kills women.
Do they not notice he's got 8 arms?
They don't seem to care.
Oh.
I don't think he has money. They're all prostitutes.
Fingers for finger blasting.
I think it looks so obvious that they aren't actually 8 arms. It's quite clearly like his 2 arms with strings.
Yeah,
pulling the arms underneath.
Going like this, and they've got string on the paper mache arms underneath his other real ones.
I'm a spider.
So, because the accents were so bad in it, I put the subtitles on to watch it just to try and understand what they're saying. The subtitles don't match the dialogue at any point.
That means it's a bad film.
Yeah. Every shot lingers far too long. There are so many really awkward shots where there's a bit of dialogue going on and the camera's just sat on Dagette's face for like a second and she's like looking side to side, wondering when he's going to shout cut. And they've kept that in. The spider picks up a hooker and who points out to him that ass fuck is my speciality, which is the tier of writing that we're talking about.
Please call them sex workers from now on.
It sounds more fun than mine.
It does.
The spider's exploits eventually get to the news, where like women are turning up with broken necks. What do the news call this serial killer?
Women are turning up with broken necks. My neck's broke. I mean, they're being found.
Yeah, being found. They're calling the serial killer Le Neck Breaker.
Because
apparently there's no French word for neck breaker.
Wow.
There is one point in this short where there is some music playing in the background, which is Danzig singing in French, and it's hilarious because Danzig cannot sing in French, barely can sing in English. Dagette, for some inexplicable reason, goes to the cinema to watch a porno. She falls asleep during it, which allows the spider to roam. But then while she's asleep in this porno theatre, just 3 random guys that happen to be in there just start to touch her up. And then they get really pissy when she wakes up and walks out.
At no point does she query when he went to see 2 Tickets to Paradise. What happened there, mate?
At no point does anybody query the fact that they were going to rape her. No point does she even just bring out the concept that these guys were touching her up in the cinema while she was asleep. And then eventually she just kills herself with sleeping tablets. And then the police walk in, find this Spider-Man thing, shoot him dead. And then you have this scene of these 3 policemen kind of looking over the body going, he has extra arms. It's like, yeah, no fucking shit. He's also 6'4" and like pale ashen white with red lines down his face. But no, yeah, just notice the arms. Eventually, after you've killed it.
The 8 dicks.
That's just the first one. The second one is called A Change of Face.
Were you looking at a bottle of, looking at them going, thinking, oh, fucking, I might take her way out.
Yeah, I'm the same, mate.
I mean, suicide is painless compared to this. Jesus Christ. A change of face. So this one starts with another porn star hanging around creepy streets. She starts shouting at something off screen. Then there's this woman stood there who I've marked her as Susie without her banshees, because that's what she looks like. And she's holding a knife. And the woman says, what do you want? This one with the knife says, I want your face. You can't have my face, is the response to that.
I need that.
And then she just goes around chopping off faces like it's nobody's business.
Jesus.
This is a 30-minute story. 7.5 minutes of it are scenes of strippers just stripping, just dancing on pools. That's it.
That scene just does go on too long. They're having it's a meeting with the detective, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or with the police chief, and they decide to do it.
There's 3 separate sequences of strippers.
Can you send the link to this film, please, just for science?
Well, it starts off with one, which is a full 3.5 minutes with some song, maybe, I can't remember what the name of the band is, but some aging 80s rocker band playing a song, and it's terrible.
John Bon Jovi.
What I found really funny is, though, is that this strip club, there are more strippers than customers there, because he clearly didn't have the budget for extras.
I mean, that is fairly representative of the strip clubs.
It would need extras. Just say, hey, do you want a free strip club show?
And then we get the announcement of the mystery girl, and we get more stripping now with a Danzig song in the background. And it's this girl coming out. She's wearing a cloak. She's got a like kind of a mask over her, and skull-shaped pasties over her tits. Because of course,
nice.
It totally does not look like he's bought stickers from a Halloween shop for that one. Totally, absolutely does not. At one point, a customer tries to give her quite a lot of money, and she just gets on her knees and stares at him until he runs away. Which I don't get. You would think that she's dancing, she would want the money, but. Then it kind of moves on. She goes to another stripper's house to cut off her face, And it's another one of these, I'm going to take your face. You can't have my face is mine kind of thing. And then the worst fight scene ever, where she just kind of pushes her over, and you see like it's one of those kind of costume knives where like it's got, when you put a little pressure on it, it like lets like fake blood out. But it's so obvious about it. It looks like a Halloween store prop. And then she walks off with this girl's face, and this girl, terrible makeup of this kind of bleeding. This woman's just standing there going, my face. It's just like, no. More goddamn strippers. And then we get the police turn up who's being led by non-union Michael Chiklis, growling his way through as a detective, just standing there drinking coffee going, what do we got? Oh, we can't let the press know about this kind of bullshit. It turns out the girl is stealing faces because she's got a scarred cheek, that's it. She feels disfigured, so she's stealing other people's faces, but then she staples them to the wall in her dressing room and talks to them like they're her children. The policeman goes to the strip club because for some reason Mystery Girl left her business card at the scene of the crime, which led the police directly to her. He walks in, calls the strippers dollface, because of course he's a sexist pig. Walks in, confronts Mystery Girl. She gets him from behind and like holds a knife to his throat. Then he fires his gun, and all of a sudden she's been shot 3 times and is running out the door, but she was behind him when he shot the gun.
You don't know how guns work, mate. You've never fired a gun.
Clearly not. And that's the end of that one. She then becomes another stripper at another place called Mysteria.
I think that's my favourite so far.
And then we get to Drukija, the Contessa of Blood.
Now, full disclosure, I've seen Verotica a couple of times. Neither time have I quite made it all the way through this one, because there's usually a lot of alcohol involved, and I fall asleep.
I think this one gave me eye cancer because it was terrible. So this one,
Can you put that on the box, please?
So when I looked at the Wikipedia on this one, the very sparse Wikipedia for this, Drukija, Contessa of Blood, has been described as a take, quote unquote, on historical figure and murderer Elizabeth Bathory. It's fucking not. No. We have some terrible green screen with a woman walking through a dungeon with bodies hanging from the ceiling in a crown, rubs blood on her face.
Even in blood and all that nonsense.
Yeah, she gets on a horse with some terrible green screen with her guards. They walk past some peasants, then walk into a peasant's house and buy her daughter for some reason. And then he goes back to the castle. The Contessa's picking from a lineup of identical blonde girls without any explanation as to why.
She's got a taste.
We then move to a 1 minute long shot of the Contessa sitting in a throne observing grapes. She's just hanging a bunch of grapes in front of her face, just looking at them. Not eating them, but it's a full minute of this 30-minute sequence.
It's pathos, that, mate.
Then we cut to one of the blonde girls is strung up on a goat statue, naked, with her wrists cut in waist deep in blood. But they haven't told the girl to act dead, so you can actually see her breathing, which is fun. And then the Contessa gets naked, climbs into the Virgin's blood, and starts licking it from her arms in a very long and uncomfortable sequence, which is neither erotic or violent or anything. It's just embarrassing to watch. But after 15 minutes of this 30-minute story, we get the context that she thinks bathing in Virgin's blood will help her stay youthful.
It does, doesn't it?
No. We also get in this sequence of her in the bath, another one of these virgins is brought to her. She kind of swings around the bath, kind of presents her chest as if for the cum shot, because they then slit her throat, which sprays all over her chest and face. It's awful. It's so bad. The literal next note after this, I've just written, Christ Glenn, just make a fucking porno. We get another sequence of the Contessa walking up to another blonde virgin girl, naked, hanging upside down by her legs, begging for her life. The Contessa says she is shopping for some skin, and then cuts this girl's throat with the worst effects of the blood spraying out over her, to the point where you can see on the camera, the actress who's playing the Contessa has a hand on the back of this girl's neck where the blood pouch is, and is pressing it to make more blood spurt out of the fake thing on her neck. It's fucking terrible. And the last sequence that we get is another virgin brought to her while she sat on a throne. This girl's clearly drugged or asleep or something like that. She pulls out a knife. She cuts down her chest, pulls the heart still beating out with all these extra blood vessels, all these extra kind of long arteries coming off it. Like there isn't spare tubes in your body. It's not like all wrapped up in there. But she pulls it out and starts eating it while the girl is still alive.
I don't think it works like that.
It does not fucking work like that.
I can confirm.
Kalima!
Yeah. And that's it. No story gets resolved. There's no narrative. There's no nothing. It's just a collection of scenes that give Glenn Danzig a hard-on. It's terrible. It's shot like a fucking film student with a £5 budget and just asked his mates to go into it, but at least those kind of films have a story or something to do. No, this is just terrible. Glenn Danzig should not be allowed. He's made another film after this, and he should not be... Why would you make a film like this if you can't make films? Tommy Wiseau made something with a fucking structure to it. I mean, my God. I mean, fucking Kevin Smith made a thing with a fucking walrus in it, and that made more sense than this.
He says a clear start to finish. I think it was one of the girls as well that was like being hanging up, and I think it's the one that was maybe supposed to be dead, but she's supposed to be chained up and being kind of held by her wrist, but you can see it. She's literally just hanging.
She's holding on to it, yeah.
Like there's nothing round her wrist or anything.
Yeah, it's so terribly made and put together. And then I watched the credits because I was having to stop myself from smashing things. I had to calm down. There was like 200 people involved with this film. There's so many people. Not one of them has gone to dance and gone, mate, you can't fucking do this. It's terrible. What was the budget for that? To be the budget for it? No,
so
of course
like it then.
No,
he just wanted to make a.
He should have just made a porn.
Do you think though? So there's a new Danzig film coming out, and I don't know when it is.
It was out last year.
I really want to watch it.
It was out last year.
You can't find it anywhere. It's not streamable. So it's called Death Rider in the House of Vampires, and this time it's starring Danzig as well. Written by Danzig, directed by Danzig, starring Danzig. Probably Danzig wrote the theme tune.
It's also got
Eli, probably did the catering.
Yeah, probably. It's also got Eli Roth in it.
And Danny Trejo.
And this one is clearly supposed to be campy. Like it's I think it's evidently a piss take of themselves. Do you think that there was any of that in the first one? Do you think it was deliberately terrible? Or do you think it was like... Because I sort of feel like if you wanted it to be deliberately that terrible, you couldn't possibly make it unless you're super intelligent and really know the sort of subtleties of making a scene bad.
So making something that's deliberately terrible, the only thing that's successfully done that would be Garth Marenghi's Dark Place. That's how you do a deliberately terrible thing like this. This doesn't have it. This is earnestly made, which is the worst part of it. I was reading on on Wikipedia, Verotica premiered on 13th of June 2019 at the Cinepocalypse Film Festival. Throughout the screening, the film elicited laughter from the audience. In a QA session following the show, Danzig asserted he did not intend for the film to be comedic, stating that viewers laughed at parts that he wouldn't have.
Oh, he'd have been wanking.
Yeah, he wrote this as if it were a genuine horror film. It doesn't even feel like he wrote it to be tongue-in-cheek. He thought all of these things were good ideas, and he clearly thought they were all executed well. They fucking were not.
I'm glad you enjoyed it, though, mate.
I mean, Glenn Danzig was the cinematographer for it as well.
You mean he held the camera?
Yeah. Directed by Glenn Danzig, written by Glenn Danzig, produced by Glenn Danzig, cinematography Glenn Danzig, music by Glenn Danzig.
Glenn Danzig.
I've been... I'll tell you what, I've been listening to you do this. I've been flicking through this film. Every single... Found it online. Every single time I flick through it, it's just someone with a top off, or in lingerie, or stripper, or...
Into it.
It is literally just a porn, but without the hardcore porn.
The thing is, at no point is this film sexy. Like, you could forgive it being terrible if there was an element of the erotica to it. There is not.
Sorry, but boobies with eyes crying. It's pretty fucking sexy.
I saw that. Have a look at that. Look that up, because fucking hell.
I'm going to text it to our WhatsApp group, and you can see it because
pretty fucking sexy.
Because I was ranting about this on the Sequelizers Discord last night because I needed an outlet to it, but I didn't want to.
Don't put the fucking darkness onto them, poor lads.
Yeah, I've just texted you a screenshot of it, and you can see it for yourself.
I need to go to the toilet.
Right, then, whilst you all enjoy that, we'll move on to...
Oh, that's gross.
Yeah, it's really fucking gross.
They've actually got eyelids.
Yes, and they cry.
They're big.
That's
though,
like one of my
They're
exes.
big boobies.
And if you want to see what the spider looks like,
What was the name again?
I've just sent you one where it got a shot of Gadget and the spider. And
But that's not just a spider or a man with. That is a horror. That is an eldritch beast.
The thing is that there's a shot quite late on in that where you kind of like there's a shot of him full body, and you can see the suit is coming apart in between his legs. Like there's this massive gap. You can see his jeans.
Well, I've got a Halloween costume sorted now.
Oh god, no! It's fucking terrible. I mean, the thing is, like, bad horror films can have redeeming things. You can enjoy a bad horror film. This you can't. There is nothing enjoyable about this film whatsoever.
Out of 10, what would you give it?
-10.
69 out of 10.
God, Glenn Danzig needs to be stopped, just in general.
Just in life.
Just someone retire him, please. No, I'm not going to say that. No, just someone stop
No,
him
because he'll
from
be dead
making
next
things.
week now. He's going to be dead next week because of you. You've done this.
Rip
You're
Danzig.
proud of yourself.
Anyway, Biggie. Sorority babes in the slime ball bowlerama.
He
So
fucking loved this. He fucking
I
loved
chose
this.
this one specially for you, Biggie. I hope you appreciate it. So, as part of a sorority ritual, pledges and their male companions steal a trophy from a bowling alley. Unbeknownst to them, it contains a devilish imp who makes their lives a living hell.
You made my life a living hell watching this. Thanks very much. Jesus Christ. So, this isn't AAA. This isn't a B movie. This isn't even the fucking alphabet, this
I call
movie.
it a double D
It's
movie.
It's just the worst. It's poorly shot. It's just, oh my word. So, as you mentioned, it has notable screen queens, Linnea Quigley, Brink Stevens, and Michelle Bauer all appearing together. Never heard of them before. We'll never see anything with them again. Yeah, it was filmed in 1987. As soon as the movie starts, it's got just pink text for all the title and the actors, if that's what you want to call them. It's got this awful synth music with guitar riffs and keyboard beats. It's just, it's awful. Absolutely awful. It had a limited release, thank God, in January 1988. It was later released to home video, of course, and in later years, it apparently gained recognition as a so bad it's good cult film. But no, it's not. It's so bad, it's really bad. So the three nerdy frat boys that you meet at the beginning, it comes across like
He's one of them called Chad.
I think one is. Is
Like
it
a-
Chad or Thad? There might be a Thad in
You
there.
always
No,
call
it's-
one Chad.
Calvin, Jimmy, and Keith, believe it or not. So yeah, you can see where this is
Keith's
going.
not an American name.
Jaggers.
And it starts with them in
Jaggers.
this real sort of Porky's sort of scenario where they're in their room in their dorm and they've heard that there's going to be this initiation ceremony, so they pop to go and see if they can see some girlies getting naughty. The sorority members Babs, Rhonda, and Frankie prepare the ritual for the newcomers, Taffy and Lisa. Taffy, what the hell is that? So the girls are observed going through this little ritual where there's a bit of paddle board spanking. Thanks for that. Some spray cream on them, which was not hilarious, but they laughed and laughed and laughed, didn't they? And then the girls decide they need to shower off this cream.
Yes!
And of course, we get the very long titillation of seeing the girls in the shower spraying it off.
Oh, it's disgusting,
And
wasn't
spraying
it?
it off.
Absolutely disgusting.
And
Why did I
spraying
not
it
get
off.
one of like a
Why did
film
I
with
get
tits in it? I just got a
Spraying
big
it off.
fat
I've-
walrus man.
I've never seen somebody try for so long to get rid of a bit of cream off their bodies. But thank you, Candy. I appreciated that little bit of boobs and flange. But
Flange.
Had to wipe his cream off.
What the fuck is flange?
But because the boys get caught peeking, the leader of the group, Bab, she decides that she's going to put the
We have to
girls to
kill them.
task and send the boys with them to go and get said trophy from the bowling alley, which is at the local mall. Unknown to them, Bab's father also runs the mall. So whilst they're off inside trying to get hold of the trophy, the three girls are actually watching it all through security cameras. Now, Calvin, the main guy, he has one can of Budweiser and is sick throughout the whole movie and plays a really bad drunk. He's just
One
awful.
can
The
of
acting-
Budweiser.
Yeah, I mean,
American,
anyone
man.
would be
Do that
sick
too,
after
yeah.
drinking that. But it's just poorly acted. The acting is just atrocious throughout. Whilst they arrive at the said mall and they're hunting around for the trophy, the lead character, Calvin, discovers that there's another person in there, a girl called Spider, who's actually trying to break in and steal money from this. Why she's picked a fucking bowling alley, I have no idea. Clearly doesn't break into many places. Whilst they're looking for this trophy cabinet, I was more interested in the arcade machines that were going on in the background, and I managed to clock Track and Field, Tron, Vulgar, Space Jaunt, and Rampage, amongst others, because that was about as interesting as it got. During a little scuffle, the trophy is knocked to the floor and it releases an imp, which for reasons unknown speaks jive and street talk and sounds a bit like the chef from South Park.
A racist imp.
Yeah.
It's just, it's so racist. It's just a little, really poor puppet that's badly
Gremlin
animated.
thing.
Yeah, but it's not as good as that. It just looks like a little imp gargoyle type creature, and he talks a little bit kind of jive,
Don't do
man.
it.
And
Don't do
I'm
it.
going to give you wishes.
No.
I'm going to give you
I'm
3
doing it.
wishes. It's so bad. So he grants these wishes to a few of the people. And they go, oh, well, I want gold. And the other one says, I've always wanted to be the prom queen. And as if by magic,
Let me guess.
the girl
One of the
turns
boys
into a
said,
prom
I
queen.
want pussy. Maybe.
One of the boys says, I want pussy. And he decides he wants to sleep with one of the girls from the sorority
Nice.
group, the new one. So, of course, against her will, she suddenly grabs him, pulls him away, and then tries to have sex with him. The acting is on par with a children's school play. I feel completely, utterly vindicated in any performances of mine on Scorched Sheep after seeing this. The only decent bit of horror is that the fat guy is killed and they use his head as a bowling ball. It's quite effective, and actually when the head stops, it actually really does look like the actor, so that was quite cool.
Oh, wow.
Other than that, this movie
Maybe
has
they
no
did
other
kill him.
redeeming... Yeah. The imp then obviously is actually not a nice imp. He's a bad imp, and it all just becomes a bit like a slasher fest. The fighting between the girls that get turned into zombies is awful. The dialogue is awful. There's just nothing at all redeeming about this movie. It's just a poorly directed film. It's not funny. It's not disgusting. There's no real horror in it. It's just really poor, awful. Just I thought it was one of the worst movies I've ever seen. And I don't understand what is good about this at all. It's just not redeemable in any way or form.
I think looking back at it now, obviously, like it's terrible, but I feel like at the time when it was released, it would have been a hit amongst teenagers, wouldn't it? Like you can just see like the lads taking their girlfriends to the cinema to see it. Like I can totally see why it's a cult classic.
Nope.
Wow.
Is it a cult classic? I've never even fucking heard of it.
They're making a sequel this year. It's in production right now.
Can't wait.
I know.
There's a fight scene between two girls where they're fighting over a crowbar and they're literally just moving it left and right like that. There's no like, I've got to get this off you. No, I've got to get this off you. It's literally like, it's literally like that. Another girl, obviously a stuntman gets set alight to imitate one of the actors being on fire, and it's not particularly well done. It's just awful. It's just, sorry, Candy, this is one of the worst things I've ever seen.
I am glad. Well, yeah, you'll be
I'm
pleased to know the
disappointed.
sequel's
I am so disappointed I had this.
I still think you got off lightly.
I think you might have done. What was I going to say? Yeah, my favourite part of that whole film as well is, after everyone's been killed off and the two main characters are left.
Spoiler alert.
Rather than, most people die. Rather than sort of say, should we maybe call the police? The female lead says, should we go home then? Should we go to my place?
Wow.
Yep.
And then
they get on a little BMX, a little motorbike thing, isn't it? It's not even a
PTSD from the imp.
And he gets put into a little box, and then right at the end, he's in the little box going, "Hey man, someone come and get me out of this
Stop doing the
box."
accent.
But it's
the
just
imp puppet is hilarious. I'm just doing a Google image
it's
search.
just not
Fucking
good.
incredible.
It's not good. Why he has to sound like the chef from South Park, I just don't
Why
know.
you have to keep
Isaac
doing
Hayes?
voices
Yeah.
beyond me?
No explanation at all from that.
Right
It's
then,
so weird. Such a weird movie.
you didn't get the worst.
No, he didn't, did he?
Oodles got the worst. Oodles got terror at Bloodfuck Lake. So a group of college kids head off to their friend's cabin for a little high-octane sex weekend that they will get to They will get more than they bargained for in the form of evil scarecrow killer Jimmy Van Brunt. Seems like nobody is safe at spooky cabins in the woods by the lakes these days. Take it away.
I fucking hate you, mate.
I thought so long about who to because this was my backup for you as well. I wanted to give you Cradle of Fear because I thought, well, maybe you might at least enjoy the music, but with Cradle of Fear,
would have done.
No, Cradle of Fear has got it's just kind of gross and nothing.
I don't like
really charming about it. Whereas Bloodfart Lake
has nothing redeemable. So, directed by Chris Seaver, whoever that is, and starring absolutely fucking nobody, with a budget of I found this out, whopping $750, which was the price of the phone the film was filmed on. So,
one of the writers is called Ron Bonk.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh God. So let me just give you a backstory. I started watching this. I had a bottle of Hennessy that I got given. Which,
did you finish it?
I don't know if you know. It's gone. So I did what any good reviewer does, and I made notes while I watched it. So these notes are going to get worse. I've not edited them all. So the film starts with a guy called Hambone talking to his bitch on the phone. That's what he calls her.
Oh, lovely.
Hambone likes to speak about himself in the third person, with such quotes as, Hambone got a 9-foot dick. He goes and sits on the dock, and a creature jumps out and gets him. No blood. Smash cut. Terrible song, and the lead actress doing the splits. Basically, this is like a little montage of the lead actress doing splits. Bear in mind, Candy, you know I don't like ska punk. The whole fucking soundtrack is ska punk.
Oh, yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, it's fucking horrible. Oh, so a car breaks down, and the crew that consists of Snake, Sally, and Leo, and whatever the others are called, I can't be asked. Snake always dates goth chicks because they're insecure. That's a quote. God. They're pretending to be teenagers. They're not teenagers. The actors, these are all bullet points now because I was getting more drunk as it went on. The actors fuck up lines, but they keep it in. Literally. There's one scene where he goes, oh, sorry, I mean, and he just continues to keep it in. It's all shot on a camera phone. The word, and you can bleep this out if you want, is used 17 times in this film. I hate that word.
I will bleep that out, listeners. He said the R word.
Yes, awful. The word bitch is used 17 times in this film. Leo pisses into the car that's low on gas, from how it works.
I think that means he needs to go to the doctor.
He's been drinking dragon soup.
So, the story that Leo says about the curse apparently gets the goth girl wet. There's a goth girl in this. And in her words, she's on the brink of an orgasm while he's telling her this story of Bloodfart Lake. Leo is also sterile. Don't know what that adds to the story. It doesn't lead anywhere. He just says he's sterile. Most of the music is ska punk, which I fucking hate. The cabin is actually a caravan. Yeah. It's a caravan. The goth girl has another gloom orgasm, as she calls it, and wants ghosts to enter her.
Oh my God.
The real silver lining to this is knowing I'm a quarter of the way through this film already, so I was 15 minutes in. I want to take this moment out of my note-taking to remind you that you're a fucking idiot, Candy. So I wrote that while I was drunk. This is the first time I'm reading these. I'm not... another note. I'm not angry at you, Candy. I'm just disappointed. Back to the film. Caspian is the cleaner at the caravan and is a friend of Hambone. The goth says... she asks Caspian if he likes the best metal band ever, Evanescence. And he retorts with, no, I only like really brutal bands like Nightwish. I hate this film. There's a, what are those? Shoe meme gag in it. Literally like that. Two of the actors are doing African-American accents. They're white. That's one of the notes.
I thought it was Cajun. I thought they were doing Cajun accents.
That's still not better. No, that's still racist. The actors keep getting the character names wrong and saying sorry. I mean, they kept saying the actor's name rather than the character's name a few times in this, which is ridiculous. Smash cut to Leo fixing what he calls a hybrid car. It's a 2001 Ford Contour, which is a Mondeo. So it's not a hybrid car at all. Then A sexy goth girl comes and flirts with him and calls him a fuck knuckle. I like that bit. That was my favourite bit.
It's a good insult.
Back to the gang in the caravan. One of the characters keeps saying, "Forget about it." He's not Italian in any way. He's got a black wig on. Nothing of note happens for about 30 minutes. Appreciate this. Literally, they sit around a table and do ghost stories, and that's scary. The goth mentions that Glenn Danzig is the reason she no longer cuts her labia. Caspian retorts with, "I no longer shit out of my dick."
Sentence. What the fuck?
That's my note. That's what she says.
I definitely missed that bit.
Did you? Really?
Oh, yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, this film's fucking terrible.
Danzig has a lot to answer for.
Yeah,
he does.
Caspian basically has the same accent as Orapan, to the point where if I didn't know Gadget, I didn't. If I know you'd not seen this, I think you'd have copied it. Absolutely, all the way through it.
Even that would annoy me.
A girl
I do
comes
that
out.
voice.
I'll get ready. A girl comes out of the water. The boys go, "Oh my god, it's Slutty McTramp whore." The crew shouts, "Boobs!"
That was the best point for Oodles' Discord to freeze.
Did it freeze?
Yeah.
Literally just as you said tramp whore.
Oh wow.
Even Discord can't take it.
One note I've got here. This is becoming offensive, especially to women. I was getting a bit annoyed now at this point. He meets up with Slutty McTramp and he goes, "Wow, the water must be cold, huh? Your nipples look like they're ready to attack." She shits herself in a swimsuit. Oh, she shits herself in a swimsuit, literally. "Oh no, I've got to go change my swimsuit. I've shit myself." And he's like, "Wow, that's awesome." 30 minutes in, I thought this was a horror. There's no horror at the moment so far. It's just a porno without the shagging. Oh, we're nearly there now, don't worry, guys. Leo and the sexy goth girl are in the car on the way to the Bloodfart Lake, but the background is the worst green screen you've ever seen in your life. They're basically driving past black holes and the universe.
And it's actually just a slideshow as well. Like there's no
it's so
continuity.
bad.
It's just picture and then
Also,
the next picture.
Speaking of continuity, the car has suddenly changed into a Toyota. No explanation.
Fair
It's
enough.
supposed to be the same car. Weird. The sexy goth girl, called Miss Ambrosia, kicks Leo out of the car and cries because he breaks his Weird Al tape. Oh yeah, he's a Weird Al fan. He goes, "Not my Weird Al tape!" He snaps it in half. Nothing happens again for another 10 minutes. The gang are partying in the caravan. Get ready. Sucking off bananas.
As you do.
Not joking. Not joking. Something is skulking in the trees while the gang go swimming. Ooh. One of the gang's mums apparently went to Bill Cosby's house and heaped period blood on the floor. What the fuck is this film, Candy?
A rip-roaring good time.
Is it?
Why have you seen these films? I mean, I've watched the trailer for this, and it just looks like a bunch of knobheads fucking around with their phone camera.
It looks like
I
one of
have
those
an
films
alcohol
Bam
problem.
Margera made in 2003.
It's worse.
It's worse.
You'd like this, Gadget. The night scenes have no lighting.
so it's got something in common with Game of Thrones then.
Yeah. 45 minutes in, Snake is killed by a guy with a sack on his head with headphones on. He chops Snake's fingers off with a junior hacksaw. Yeah, he's called Snake. Bear in mind, Snake's the Italian-American one. He cuts his fingers off with a junior hacksaw, then stabs him in the eye with a corn on the cob. The killer speaks to the camera. He's obviously Caspian with the bag on his head. It's basically him. The same actor. It's not the actual character. It's just the same actor. You can fucking tell. The next morning, we witness Caspian wanking and screaming, "Stretch marks! Stretch marks!" What the fuck is this film? Ugh. Another note. I hate this. I hate you. One of my final notes. It is my final note, actually. I'm stopping writing notes. I'll give you a summary at the end. Well, the gang killed the killer with a corn again. It wasn't Caspian in the end, just the same actor. It ends with another shit ska punk song. Terrible. I've also put, this is perhaps the worst film I have ever watched. Every character is intolerable. It's not that crap it's funny, it's just truly unfunny. It's not scary, and the scene where the sexy goth shits out her dead brother is a crime to cinema. She shits out a dead brother. Not kidding. The reason why this film hasn't been banned on YouTube is the quality is so bad you can barely see what's happening. 0 out of 10. Calling this a movie is an insult to the industry. It makes Grown Ups 2 look like the Shawshank Redemption.
Fucking hell.
End of.
So you're not.
I fucking.
You're not going to watch Return to Blood.
I say you're not going to watch the sequel then.
I was going to say I've got a list of the films that it's SRS Cinema apparently they've made this. So you've got
Cinema is the fucking wrong word for it.
SRS phones. So you've got Terror at Bloodfart Lake. You've got Return to Bloodfart Lake, and going through some of the other films they've made, you've got Amityville Karen, Sharks of the Corn.
Why are they obsessed with corn?
Amityville Shark House.
Because it's all they've got like around them. What we've got is a few cornfields around us. I go grab some corn.
$750 budget.
Virus Shark.
Why did you make me do this?
Because
I don't understand why you've watched.
Do you
this.
like it?
I don't understand, Candy.
I have a lot of time on my hands and a drinking problem. Oh, Sex Squatch.
Oh.
Sex Squatch is one they got. One for you all. Dune World. A deep space crew takes a job on a mysterious remote planet. A crash landing strands them on the hostile surface. Soon they find out what creatures live there and the hidden fate of.
They have not got the budget for a sci-fi
all of these
film.
films are just going to be them filming it around their caravan.
Yeah,
like caravan. They're probably going to stick some fucking plastic, like cardboard wings on the caravan and pretend it's a spaceship.
Yeah, probably.
Here's a good one. Moist Fury. When their best fighter, Dewback, is killed, the Queefs must exact bloody vengeance.
But the thing is, Candy, what
Dewback
really
a really racist term?
What really got me is how offensive it is to women. This is not a good film to women.
Yeah, no, it is bad. I think for me, it's just so bloody ridiculous.
It's all the period jokes. There's no need in it.
Yeah.
There's no need in it.
I mean,
it's offensive.
I've looked up Chris Seaver and seen what he's done as a director. I mean, but I think what he does is he comes up with a title, gets high, and makes it. So he has
like Kevin Smith then.
Yeah, so he has Ski Wolf, which
Ski Wolf.
Yep. Friday the 13th Halloween Night. Which I'm pretty sure that one's lined up for a suing. Mulva, zombie ass kicker. Teen Ape Goes to Camp.
You know what?
Anal Paprika.
I watched this, and I was so pissed off after it. Obviously, YouTube recommendation because I watched it on YouTube because it's free.
Oh, is it?
And
the
next thing that came up, was carpool karaoke, and I fucking hate that, man. And I preferred it.
He did
what I don't get is if you're sitting home, and I know I have issues with the UIs for certain apps, but how are you finding these movies when you have so much choice to watch, to sit down and watch a movie? How have you pulled these out?
It's because she gets Fangoria every month.
It's a subscription to Shudder, and they find me. Generally, and like a lonely Saturday night after a bottle of wine and some olives, and I need entertainment.
You can't be serious. There's literally nothing redeeming about Bloodfart Lake. Nothing whatsoever.
I mean, in fairness, usually about 20 minutes in, I'm gone. That's me, waking up on the sofa the morning after.
So you wanted us to watch these for you? Is that what it is?
Oh no, I've seen them all. Like I always go back and see them.
I'm pissed off, really, mate.
Well, I'm glad you all enjoyed your films. I truly am.
Oh yeah. My algorithm.
Yeah, Gadget gave me the Banana Splits movie, and it's definitely not as bad as the ones I gave you.
No, because I like you and I'm a nice person.
Yeah.
I don't want to see you suffer, Candy, but I think I might change that opinion.
My character's going to die, isn't she? On
whoever
D&D?
gets you for Secret Santa this year.
Oh no, I've doomed myself.
And I'm notorious for gifts, so
shit in a box.
I am literally willing to chop my finger off and send you it. That's how angry I am.
I know, Candy, I'm not going to kill off Capri, but the cat might leave you.
No.
Give me the cat. Give me the cat.
Yeah, he might take a fancy to Treble.
No, why would you do this?
You've earned this, mate. You've earned it.
Yeah, you brought this on yourself.
You're a bad friend. Remember when we went to Peterborough and I saved you from that tarantula?
Oh yeah, you did. Those tarantulas are staying next time, aren't they?
Yeah, they're going in your hair.
No.
I'm telling you. If Gadget saw that spider, though, we'd have lost his shit, wouldn't he?
Probably.
Oh, it was a big boy.
Whereas you lost your shit in his room.
Oh God, I'm just fuming. I'm fuming. Bloodfart Lake is literally the worst thing I've ever watched.
I think it's possibly the worst thing ever made. So I was glad that I could share it.
Yet it's rated on IMDb higher than Verotica.
Ooh.
Veronica's got 1.9
I think it's
on
because
IMDb.
I think it's because with the budget, they can't be as offensive as they'd want to be. It's just the dialogue is. And the fact that the actors kept just getting the lines wrong. And obviously, they didn't know how to edit.
They probably edited it on the camera.
Edit.
Yeah.
Oh. It's like a Sony Ericsson as well. No Walkman phones.
That was a potato
Filmed it
for
on
sure.
that. Oh,
It's like mine. I think my movie was just improvised dialogue because it was just awful. Just awful.
Anyway, what did you watch, you bastard?
So I watched the Banana Splits movie, and it's a comedy horror set in a universe where the real-life Banana Splits TV show has been running for the last 50 years. And it's basically, I'll go through it quickly because it wasn't that bad. It was pretty terrible.
I like this film.
It was pretty terrible. So Banana Splits mega fan wins tickets to the show. As it turns out, the Banana Splits aren't actually actors in suits, but they're robots that have to be regularly reprogrammed and updated by a studio technician. And apparently the most recent update has caused a glitch that sends them on a spree to kill everyone in the studio. And that's kind of all you need to know about the story.
It's Five Nights at Freddy, isn't it?
Yeah, but not quite as... Yeah, basically, not quite as fun as Five Nights at Freddy.
Yeah.
There's some surprisingly gory kills and making full use of props, like an oversized lollipop being shoved down someone's throat. Someone got impaled by a magic wand. Someone got run over by a Banana Splits buggy. And I think the trouble with this film is it's just not quite bad enough for me to enjoy it. Like, don't get me wrong.
It must have the highest budget out of all of them.
Yeah,
do.
It looks like a competently made film from the trailer.
Yeah, exactly. It's edited a fucking one.
It's far too slick to be truly exquisite.
It's got to be a couple of $1 million, that one.
Maybe one at a push, yeah. It just doesn't have quite the self-awareness to be to do a U-turn and just become a sheer brilliance. Like I genuinely don't think it's set out really to be an intentional sort of B-list horror thing like Sharknado. The production value, is just too high. But if you show it to a 12, 13-year-old, they'd probably quite enjoy it. Like it's a horror for kids. It's fine. It's fine. I did not suffer like you truly suffered.
I'm so fucking angry, man.
We will make you suffer.
Yeah.
So angry. Anyway, we don't have any feedback because we didn't want to put our listeners through this. It's not fair. See how nice we are, Candy? Oh, you're fucking done with me, you, mate. Me and you done professionally, mate. Da-da-da-da-da. Right, as always, links to all our extracurricular activities are in our show notes and at modernescapism.co.uk, and please consider becoming a patron to help support our endeavour. Again, you can be a patron any time of the month. Do it. Next week, we will be discussing our favourite horror villains. This is what I'm into, mate. This is what Halloween's about, the baddies. So I'm very much looking forward to this. I've already got a few in my head now that I'm thinking, do I bring them up? Are they too obvious? Do I bring Caspian from Bloodfart Lake? I don't know.
Do we bring up Candy?
Oh, she is a villain, mate.
Yeah.
Truly a villain.
Never let her be in charge of anything.
If we'd have cast you into the fire today in the Patreon section, if you're
already there.
If you already want there, that's what I mean.
We pull her out and throw her back in.
Yeah.
Offer a hoop.
Throw her into the deeper fire.
We could
The
do a
secondary
ritual to
fire.
summon her from the hellfires and put her back in.
I love that we're saying this with no context for the non-patrons.
Yes. Speaking of which, if you are a non-patron, this is the end of the show. Why are you being tight? We need the money so we can buy Candy a horrible gift and really make her suffer. Are you into bed bugs, Candy? Because you can buy them.
Oh.
We can send them to your house.
Please don't.
And you will have to blast the house completely.
She's a proper bed for that.
Yeah, exactly. I just take the mattress away. It's fine.
She's got the mattress from Hellraiser, hasn't she? But yes, this has been a show. I wanted to thank you, Candy, for that, but I'm not gonna. Good night, non-patrons. For everyone else, we'll see you in the green room in a second. Bye.
Hey.
I've been so loud.
It hurts my ears.
Und mein Gott.
Und mein Lieben.
Yes. Oh. And among other, I got German.